That's alright, Mama. That's alright with you. That's alright, Mama. And just any way you do. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright now, Mama. Any way you do. Come on, man. Can you feel the pain? Into him now about this new world. Ain't no train. Papa's got a brand new eye. Purple haze in my brain. Lately, just don't seem the
Hey guys, Barry Morgenstein, America's headshot photographer. Coming to you.
Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
What is going on, everybody? So sorry we're late. It's been a long time. We've been doing really good on our times, maybe a minute or two, maybe 5. But I've been trying to get everything set up and get Leeroy in here, and I cannot seem to get it to work. And I wanted to try 15 minutes. I'm going to try right now, see if we're online and see if I can get him in here. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. I hate being late. It's never what we want to do, but unfortunately, when you don't have producers and all that type of stuff, you're just not going to get it perfect every time. So we're going to take the big L and move on. I'm going to see if I can get Leeroy in here right now and see if it'll work. By the way, you can see the lighting is Halloween. It's one of the cool things we can kind of do, and I've done it. Never did it. Leeroy's here. That's awesome. I think we got him. Took long enough. Leeroy, sorry, buddy.
All right.
Tried to get you in, and then it just worked. So you're way over there. You're not going to be where you're supposed to be. So we're going to take you off there.
All right.
We'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Hang in there. We are going to go right into the intro, and then get the heck out of here. We'll be back in just a second. Be right back.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree? Stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want. Damn, show what you need. I won't tell no lies. Back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dog.
Broadcasting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry we're late in the festivities. You can see Ash. She's in the lower corner right here, laying on the floor. She is not happy. She got her flea medication and she hates it. Like, hates it. Can't stand it. She's very mad at Mom. She won't even go into the other room where Mom is at because Olivia is evil. So she is sitting with Dad, moping, and very, very distraught. One of the cool things about these lights is that we can kind of get the Halloween atmosphere and go ahead and say Happy Hallows Eve to everybody. We'll get Leeroy on in here, a good buddy who almost didn't make it on the show, but will be here tonight. Leeroy, what's going on, buddy? Happy Hallows Eve.
How you doing, brother? Everything good?
Yeah, dude. I kind of dig in the change of background. It makes I don't know, it's festive. And then we'll have a Christmas tree this year, but we had the pumpkins up and we're like, you know what, we'll make it festive.
I have one of those giant inflatable costumes that you put on, and it's the one of the T-Rex, and it's hilarious to walk around in and have fun with people. I'll probably wear that tomorrow.
Yeah. You see the liberals are dressing up as Charlie Kirk for Halloween. These bastards.
That's not cool.
Putting a wound on their neck and bloody shirt, and you're just like, I don't know. There's just some things like someone dressed up as the 9/11 towers, a woman dressed up as two towers, one on this side of her chest and this side, and then her head's in the middle, and then her boyfriend dressed up as a plane, and I'm like, yeah, maybe 30 years later or 20 years later, but no, not even then.
I don't know, man. No, I wouldn't. And I'll tell you why. You can be ashamed of your country for certain things. You can criticize your country for certain things.
Right.
But the fact that you can do all of this so openly to criticize it and to wear, whatever the hell costumes you want. I mean, there's a level of class that's attached to that. But in any other country that you are kind of desiring that the U.S. be more like, they wouldn't have any of this. They would just hang you from the gallows right in front of the State House, It's not cool.
Yeah. I just, I don't mind freedom of speech. I think it's a beautiful thing. But the problem, it seems, is that it's not speech that people are concerned about. It's accountability for their speech from verbal lashings or confrontation. And I can't tell you how many times people will say something on Facebook and they'll be like, Michelle Obama has a penis. And I'm like,
stop with that shit.
Right. So, and I just reply, how do you know? Well, I just do. And I said, so this isn't, you don't know she has a penis. You're assuming she does, right?
Right.
And they're like, hey, I'm entitled to my free speech. And I'm like, yeah, and so am I, loser. So why is me challenging you on your stupidity somehow censoring your speech? In fact, it's enhancing it because I'm exercising my right to expose you for being a moron.
Right.
Am I wrong here? I mean, what am I missing?
No, you're not missing anything. There is the Socratic method. Was that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
The Socratic method, which was this line of questioning that you should be able to give anyone to help challenge their own ideas and thoughts. And if their own ideas and thoughts are taking them down a false narrative,
right,
or obviously some sort of something that's not right, then this line of questioning would help bring that to light.
Yeah.
And those questions were pretty simple. It was like, how do you know something is true?
Right.
What are you assuming? What evidence would it take to make you change your mind?
And what could you have gotten wrong?
Right. And so people can't answer those typically. Everyone has some baked in level of assumptions, but you can have like something that's a 10% assumption and something that is a 90% likely assumption, but it's still an assumption.
Yeah. I just first of all, Lawrence, congratulations. Got your own apartment off church property. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. That is a big step. And that's the American dream, right? Small steps into greater success. So great job for you. Last night was a great show. We had Pastor Jack Gill on, and it was a riveting success. It's our highest rated live episode that we've had in probably a year and a half. I think it's sitting at, I think last night it was at 7.5K views, so 7,500 people. And then I think we've eclipsed 15 now. We've gone viral. You can see that we're sitting at tonight we should break 333,000, which is incredible, right? Because, I mean, we just looked at it and it was like 24?
Yeah.
So it's been moving up, and quite a few things are going, and the things that I'm posting, they're really starting to tick people off. So, and that's okay but it allows me to go ahead and go after them hard. So for instance, this label on my shampoo said use liberally. So I stood in the shower screaming about Russians and calling everyone racist.
That's funny.
Liberals measure compassion by how many people are given welfare. Conservatives measure compassion by how many people no longer need it.
That is absolutely true.
This one was fun. If you have more than 3 baby daddies, please don't vote. You're going to pick the wrong man again. This one's already at like 2.6 million. The longest filibuster in U.S. history was 75 days. It took place in 1964 when Democrats tried to block the Civil Rights Act. Now, this is the bone of contention that I have tonight, is the people talking about the Great Party Switch. I can't stand hearing about the Great Party Switch. There was no Great Party Switch. This is the most ludicrous thing. This is Democrats refusing to take responsibility for their history and trying to project it onto us.
Correct.
It bothers me beyond reproach. The Republican Party was created to be an antithetical substitute to Southern Democrats. Most importantly, to abolish slavery and to not necessarily create equal rights, which came later, but to abolish slavery, and the United States recognizing that when England did it, innovation started to increase, productivity started to increase, et cetera, et cetera. I think I'll start the show off with a donation, then back to Facebook. Thank you very much, Velvet Face. Appreciate that. Remember, you can always donate at thedumbshow.com. We love YouTube. YouTube's great. We've been making a lot of money on YouTube lately, and people have been giving us super chats. We love that. However, we get paid immediately when you go through PayPal and Venmo. But when you do it on YouTube, we have to wait 30 days, which is no big deal. We don't mind waiting 30 days. I just want to let you know so you guys are aware. So if you're like on Facebook, you can just go to thedumbshow.com/donate. Anyway, last thing I'm going to say about this. I've spent a lot of time debunking Strom Thurmond, going over Manifest Destiny, going over the Great Society, diving into Jim Crow laws, Japanese internment camps, the KKK, Daughters of the Confederacy, modern-day slave plantations, civil rights, all of it. And we can go into it. But here is the simple argument that you need to hear and then I want Leeroy's opinion on this. When they talk about the party switch, what they're saying is that Republicans for 200 and some odd years were the party of Lincoln. But then all of a sudden decided to embrace all Democratic policy, racist policy, their checkered past, and Democrats became the party of Lincoln during the civil rights movement. And ultimately, Senate and House passing the Civil Rights Act. But here's the thing. So these two things cannot be true at the same time. If that's true that the parties switched, then what you're saying is, and follow along here, is that Republicans are the ones that had to push civil rights across. In fact, Democrats were resistant. All 13 states in the South were resistant. And without the 80% of Republicans coming through on these 5 series of votes where Republicans were always the greater party. I can break down the votes for you if you want, but it was always about an 80% Democrat to 70% Democrat vote. And what you're saying is that the Republicans came in and pushed civil rights over the line, which we know they did. So those were Democrats who did that. That's what you're saying, because there was a party switch. And if that's the case, then it was Republicans who were acting as Democrats, opposed it. But then when the party switch happened, which never took place, that's what you're saying took place. Okay, so then the second thing you're saying is that civil rights went through and then the parties completely switched, where racism and the Dixie Democrats turned into Republicans because of Goldwater, and Republicans started taking the South, which were predominantly Christian conservatives, is what you're saying they were, because that's what they would have to be, because that's what they are today.
Right. Unless
Christian conservatism just changed too along with it, like all the people changed their policies. All of that is fine. Okay, so that's true. So here's my question. And these two things cannot be true at the same time. What you're saying is, if I hear you correctly, is that the southern states got less racist under conservative policies and prospered better under conservative policies and got less racist from the party of racism. That's what you're going to tell me. And not only that, but 700,000 Ku Klux Klan members that were in Chicago to support the Democratic National Convention shrunk down to 3,000 members, now not just in the South, but nationwide. The KKK is 3,000 strong under racist conservative leadership. And I'm not done. Mixed marriages have increased.
Yeah.
Ethnic diversity has increased. African Americans, women, Asians, Latinos, all in positions of power have increased. More CEOs in the South that are minority groups considered per capita than any other state. And last but not least, the southern states, now you have to listen to me because I'm going to say growth potential, leading the nation in overall growth because people are fleeing the coasts and moving into red Midland areas because they're safe and they like their policies. They won't vote for them, but they love what they got so they can ruin it like they did in Colorado, like they did in Oregon, like they're doing in Virginia, but nonetheless move to these extremely racist states. So both can't be true. Either that's what you're saying, and they also didn't vote for a Republican for 25 years, or you're wrong. And the only thing that changed was Strom Thurmond came over, surrendered because he realized that Democrats were losing blacks and Latinos because they were disenfranchised with the Democrat lies. So they moved away from the Democrat Party. So what happened then? The Great Society was created. And that was to literally what Lyndon Baines Johnson said, was to get those N-words hooked on a little taste of government. And once we got them, and once we give it to them, and once we make them dependent, those N-words will never vote anything but Democrat ever again. His words. Unless you're saying Lyndon Baines Johnson was a conservative. Wouldn't that be interesting? So the whole party switch is a complete and utter fabrication from start to finish. And this is what the Daughters of Confederacy did. This is revisionist history. It's a reimagination of what truly placed, and it started with free labor versus slave labor, where they said this was about free work versus paid labor. It wasn't about slavery. Leeroy, I want to get your thoughts.
There's a lot to unpack in there, and I don't think I could. I wasn't soaking it in as fast as you were putting it down, so I'm going to have missed a few things along the way.
Sure.
But the questions that I have always had revolve around the idea that if the parties essentially switched, then that means that at some point, states like Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio, right, would have been considered what, like deep blue?
Republican? Democrat?
Right. They're like, the only linchpin that the Democrats use to justify the validity of that argument is the fact that the South had changed. It all revolves around the South. But yet, in almost every election that we've ever had, swing states change, as do whole swaths of areas. And since there's that website that I refer to a lot, I think it's called Ballotpedia, something like that.
Yeah, Ballotpedia.
That had stated that since 1990, there's been like 190 politicians who have switched sides. So, I mean, does that mean that their entire philosophy have the parties themselves switched? Because if you're just hanging off of one dude, Strom Thurmond, then I don't understand the argument. I never have, and nobody's been ever been able to fully explain it to me in a way other than just to say that places like Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky were the Dixiecrats, and that at some point they went red. Okay, so what? They went from owning slaves to understanding over a 30-year period of time that, oh yeah, that's probably a bad thing. Like, that's the argument.
It's amazing.
I don't get it.
Well, listen, it's amazing to me that if you start at the beginning and start at the end, or end at the end, we are the party of Lincoln. We know the Emancipation Proclamation wasn't a Democrat idea. Otherwise, what you're saying is a Republican killed Lincoln? John Wilkes Booth was a Republican, is what you're saying. He was a conservative. Oh, no, the parties were different back then. Most assuredly, they were.
Yeah.
But predominantly, they were still big government versus little government, and that was the crux. They were still created in classic liberalism. So to sit here and say that these parties were antithetical to each other, no, times have changed, innovation have changed, the complexity of our problems, socially, financially, economically, geopolitically, have all changed. Of course. I mean, the printing press versus the internet is a giant change and will create pages upon pages upon pages of regulation. That right there can change a political party's face. And we saw this through the Great Depression. We saw it through the Industrial Revolution. And with times changing comes political platforms. But still, the basis of both parties from then until now have been larger government to smaller government. That's the one thing that rings true. And for you to say that Republicans ever in their history, including now, have wanted big government is a complete lie. And if that is a lie, then there was no party switch. That right there disproves, and there's a million other ways to disprove this. Leeroy, go ahead. And thank you, Joanne Townsend. In memory of my nephew, happy first heavenly birthday. Mitch, we miss you. Thank you so much, Joanne.
Thank you,
we love
Joanne.
You. Thanks for being with us.
Joanne.
Go ahead, buddy.
I have heard the argument that the Republicans were the big government party. And there was some pseudo valid points that were thrown at me. If we had allowed each state to run itself at one point, then the slavery would have never, like, it was a national effort to get that to come to its halt. Thank God. And even today, like, are we saying that some states can't run themselves, places like California or Illinois, in terms of healthcare? Because Donald Trump is coming in saying, look, you guys are giving healthcare to immigrants, and that is in violation of USC 8. And so would that then be the quote unquote the big government party to come in and tell a state what to do when it's supposed to be the other way around? So I get some of the points, but largely they're kind of false arguments.
They are false
in
arguments.
a lot of ways. Yeah, because for as many times as I have heard those points, there are roughly 4 times as many examples where the Democrats also want to use the power of big government.
Right.
Whereas the Republicans just seem to, the more right-leaning, the more conservative you tend to be, you tend to look at those and you have far less examples of it within the government. That's all.
The interesting thing about that argument, and I never quite understand it because I've heard it before, is that they should reference 1920 to 1946. Because you and I have talked about this many times, conservatives actually expanded the government. They expanded things like a social security or safety nets or a time of leave. They went into EBT style programs and welfare style programs. The Republicans went down this road and they got caught up in it. And if you may notice, there is a very long piece of history where Republicans didn't win anything. They didn't win the presidency. They didn't hold on to the SCOTUS. In fact, if you look at the SCOTUS, about 87 years out of those 100, Democrats ran SCOTUS. This is one of the first times we've had pretty much a majority in conservative voting for any extended period of times. To sit here and say that conservatives didn't go through their socialist utopia days of where they tried to become big government, they did. It was 1920 to 1946. That is true.
Also, 1825 all the way through 1861. That was all Democrat, the whole thing.
Yeah. So my point being is that Republicans scratched the itch on that and then realized that it was destroying their party and pulled back away. But the Great Depression created focus on how do we have a safety net for the American citizens. And although the answer should have been more deregulation on small businesses and some of these upstart companies that were creating things that were very, very innovative and incentivizing them, they went into regulation, and that was the wrong way. Well, we learned this problem. Of course, Democrats, in order to go ahead and have black people and minorities come on to the tit, is they had to get them hooked on government.
Right.
But if you go back to slavery, slavery wasn't just about doing what was morally right. England did it because England knew that there was a very large population of people who were not in their country. And if we continued down this path of being an empire and stealing people from faraway lands, they would create a million different Irelands. And England did not want any of that. The English Empire learned very quickly what a bunch of upstart farmers could do. And what they didn't want is these places like Africa, the Sahara, and the Middle East also to do the same thing that was done with Shanghai Marines and Shanghai in Hong Kong and Taiwan and what the Japanese did. So England recognized that getting rid of slavery was going to be beneficial for England. And they could also throw cannon fodder at people by putting the black people up front. America did it because slaves were very quickly outnumbering whites. Because different than whites that wanted to have many kids to live the American dream, well, the problem is that birth rates in white culture wasn't doing very well in those times. And when you had kids, you sometimes rolled the dice and not only lost that child, you lost the mother too. And no matter what advancements, it's never caught up. In fact, our rates of successful birth in this country is one of the poorest and lowest out of all civilized countries. Still, I'm almost done. But if you looked at African Americans, and this is the truth, whether you want it or not, because of the harsh conditions that they grew up in, the high heat, the lack of water, unbelievable conditions of constantly being on your feet and moving, their success for natural childbirth was actually very high. And they had a proclivity of having children and being successful. So their population was growing at a rapid rate. And the United States realized that very shortly, Black people would become self-aware and say, we're revolting. And we just got done doing that to England. So there was a self-preservation that took place in this society where the United States had a vision of how do we go ahead and use African Americans to help us, which they did in the Civil War, to give them their freedom, and we can bring these two together and be a stronger nation for it. Now, equality and all that other shit didn't happen for quite a long time, but that was the overall sustained effort of the Union and what they were seeing. And plus, they knew the South wasn't very happy with the Union, and they already just got done with the separation, and they knew that the South were going to secede, and that's ultimately what they wanted to do. Go ahead. And this is why the two-thirds compromise happened way before abolition. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it was, I had read a book by Thomas Sowell where he kind of pointed out exactly what you did, which was for the longest of times, immediately after slavery and deep into almost the 1950s, Blacks had great family units. They were, there was a stable nuclear family for a long time, and they were having a lot of kids, and good on them for doing it, and to your point, whites were having less.
Somebody said, Matt doesn't see my question. You could be right, Terry. I don't know. Hold on. I was in the midst, I think it was Whig, Darla, but not sure what affiliation. The Whig Party? What do you want to know about the Whig Party? We can go into the Federalist, the Anti-Federalist, the Bull Moose Party, the Whig Party. I mean, what's the question? Sorry.
I think the first one was John Quincy Adams, right?
Yeah, but what's the question? I don't know what's going on. I mean, we're not playing Jeopardy here. John Quincy Adams, what?
He was a Whig.
Yeah.
He wore a wig, too. I don't know that.
I'm waiting for her answer. Oh, okay, there it is. It says, who were they? What I'm sorry. What do you mean by, I'm sorry, Darla. Give me a little bit more definition. What do you mean by who were they? Are you talking about like what their political affiliation is, what their beliefs were?
I think that's what she means.
Well, but who was it? Which side were they on? Are they the left? They're the right? What were they? I'll give you some of their ideas of who they were. They were big government. They believed in a national bank. The Whigs believed in paper currency before all else. All writs and notes and any IOUs essentially were null and void. They believed in federal funding for the states, that all funding for state incentives would go through the federal government. They were very, okay. Yeah. Were they like, well, I'm going to tell you and you can tell me. They wanted moral reform and Christian values through education, but through a manifest destiny where all people accept Christian ethics and Christian-based teachings. I'll give you a couple names. Henry Clay, Daniel Webster, William Henry Harrison, and Zachary Taylor all were a part of it. So the Whigs, if you want to know, you guess on what I'm saying. Who do you think they joined based upon the descriptions that I gave you? And instead of saying national, add world in front of it. So it'd be a world national bank, a world currency, a world education-based system that teaches and expresses the same moral fundamental values. Bobby Richardson, 3140, best show ever. Love you guys. Love you too. So who do you think it would be? Who did the Whigs join? And I think you were right. I think you say 1830, Leeroy, not John Quincy, but 1830 is when it became large, and then 40 and 48. And then it absolved into another party because of slavery.
Right.
And the Whigs, where did they come from? Well, it's really interesting when you think this, because here is the part about the Whig Party, which is truly where a party, not a party switch, but an absorption took place.
Correct.
So the Northern Whigs went to the GOP and Republicans, and the Southern Whigs went to the Democrats. And it really was the issue of slavery which split the Whig Party up, and all other fundamentals really were immaterial. It was literally slavery. That's what broke the party up. So they split basically in half, is my understanding.
That is exactly how I understand it as well.
So if that's the case, you would also have to talk about other parties that were in that time. So this is something that people don't understand. This is really interesting. Who created the Democratic Party?
Martin Van Buren.
I want to challenge that. Who created the Republican Party?
Lincoln.
Mm-mm. The most well-known Republican, but who created it?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
So this is the
That's a good
interesting
question.
part, because in history, it was the Democratic Republican Party. It was Thomas Jefferson. And that's the trick. So when people go back in time, they see the Federalist Party, and they go, oh, well, those are the Republicans. And then they see the Democrat-Republican Party, which were the Jefferson Republicans, and assume that they were Democrats, and that's not the case. The Federalists were the federal government. These were big government people.
That's who eventually became the Democrats, right?
Right. Then you had, then in the 19th century, you had the National Republican Party. You had the anti-Masonic Party, where a lot of these people are going back to the Freemasons, and you hear that now. And then you had the Whig Party. So that was early 19th century, so 1800s. So the evolution of our parties changed quite a bit. So then mid to late 19th century, so we're talking 1850. So you're talking when slavery was at its largest point. You had then the Democratic Party. Then the GOP was born, which is the Grand Old Party. Right. And then you had a couple of others, and I don't know if you remember the names, but it's there. I know quite a few, but I did look up the others. It's the Free Soil Party.
Oh my God!
The Know Nothing Party.
That was so the Know Nothings were attached to the Whig Party, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's correct. Yeah, and the American Party. So they identified themselves as the American Party, but the Know Nothing Party, the Constitutional Union Party, the Liberty Party. Then there was the Greenback Party. And then here's the ones that I didn't know, which is the introduction of postmodernistic Age of Enlightenment, Nietzsche type replacement theory of God with science, came the Populist Party. The first socialist? I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
But that's when it was born. So and they were actually called the People's Party, not too far from where we're at now. So then the 20th century and beyond became the Progressive Party, which was the Bull Moose Party. Everyone knows that.
Yes.
That was 1912.
I do remember that.
Then the States Right Democratic Party. Those were the Dixiecrats that we were mentioning earlier. Then the American Independent Party. And then I had to look up the rest. There was the Reformist Party. That's when the Libertarian Party, the Green Party was born. And then the Constitution Party. That was 20th century and beyond.
You know, at some point, I'm going to take a tally. I'm going to take an inventory of every different party and start going through their platforms. Yeah. I think that would be pretty telling, because my understanding, and for everyone, please drop a comment below, right? But my understanding is that by today's definitions, I equate the libertarians as almost like the same value structure as the founding fathers.
Right.
They wanted to keep everything the government's hands so tied that literally every citizen had to bear more and more personal responsibility. That's just how I understood it. So I wonder if each and every one of these evolution of parties where they tried to maybe, unplug something here, put maybe a little bit bigger government here in the name of a program or something along those lines. And if somehow over time that just evolved and spiraled out of control, that's kind of what I wonder.
So I want to clarify something so people are clear. I'm not saying Thomas Jefferson created the Republican Party. He was much later than Lincoln in the sense of 1850. So the Jefferson Republicans were the Democrat Republicans, and then they turned into the Democratic Party. Okay? But follow with me here. But it's not the same party as the Republican Party of Lincoln. What branched off from the Democrat Republican Party came later. So Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, that was 1790. But then when you go into Lincoln, you're talking about 1840, 1850.
Right.
So follow along here. So then Lincoln's Republican Party was created. Okay? Then in 1850, anti-slavery Whigs, the Free Soilers, the Northern Democrats, who opposed expansion of slavery.
They passed the 13th Amendment. Yeah.
Right. Now, here's the interesting switch. Now, this is where you need to understand. Jefferson's party, though, favored small government and states' rights. But Lincoln, as Leeroy said, promoted stronger federal government and more opposition to slavery. So they had democratic values as far as larger government, larger federal government. And that is where I'm saying the Jefferson Democrats were for smaller government, and less influence. So that changed over time. So that's why it's confusing. So when I say that, yes, Lincoln 100% was the first Republican president, that is not the Republican platform that we have today. But it was alive and well, and it was in the Democratic Republicans founded by Thomas Jefferson.
Isn't it funny that every time an administration in charge who happens to be blue, all of a sudden, all of its constituents, all of the Democrats are all of a sudden big government party. But the moment you get someone who's an elephant in the White House, then all of a sudden they see that as an infringement upon the Constitution, and all of a sudden they become the small government party. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but understand this: the South was diametrically opposed to bigger government. And the reason why is because they were fundamentally, their beliefs were focused on states' rights. And that the states had the rights to decide what they wanted to do. But the Northern Union felt that innovation, trade, and more globalist focus was the way to go. Well, who does that sound like? It sounds like Democrats. So when people say the parties were not the same, they weren't. But the one major issue after we solved the Civil War, and once that took place, truly became limited government influence. And that was one of the agreed upon resolutions that the North would try to do, which was to have less influence over the South, and to not pigeonhole them and not keep their thumb on them, so to speak. But the problem is that modern day politics have changed. And when you look during those times, it was the birth of a country. And I'm telling you now that if we were conservatives then, we would want bigger government. And I know a lot of you are saying there's no way. No way. I'm all for small government. It was the birth of the government. And in order for us not to be overthrown or to have secession, the government had to have a very large amount of power reserved for them once the states agreed upon communal legislation. And that's where you get the amendments, and that's when you get 66%, the 2/3 majority of states, where an amendment can then be proposed to the Constitution of the United States, where the federal government would then make it national law. So a very different time.
Very.
But that doesn't mean that for the life of the GOP, that it hasn't predominantly been for limited government. It has. But what came out of larger government, if you really want to look at this, is freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, the Bill of Rights. These are all not government, but government created them to put checks and balances of their overall power. But that's more government by limiting the government. It's very complicated when you think about it because the times have changed. But once those rules were set, it's kind of like baseball. Hey, you've got your rules. Pitcher sets his feet and then makes a motion. That's a balk. If you go ahead and you hit an infield and it goes out on the first base line, that's not a fair ball. Infield fly rule, designated hitter rule. All of these things are rules. And once the rules are set, you can't change them unless all the teams agree, or at least 2/3 majority of those teams agree. And once they agree, then baseball will change the league's rules, but only for the National League. The American League gets its own rules. And for the National and American League, those two different leagues have to have 75% of the teams agree in order for Major League Baseball to change all rules. That's the best way to help you understand.
Yeah.
The birth of baseball was big government. But the purpose of the growth of government was to limit its power. That's why the GOP wanted small government. Go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
I am a huge follower for people like Thomas Sowell and that kind of thing. One of the guys that absolutely enthralled me when I was younger was a guy named Walter Williams. And so when Matt and I start talking about like whether or not what Matt is referring to here is this ongoing debate, argument, conversation as to whether or not the Constitution is a quote unquote living document, right? And I always loved
those were great debates when we did those.
Yes.
We finally agreed.
But I would remember Walter Williams, who on video, and he is so just an amazing guy, right? Very quick. And he made the argument that, like, how did he put it? It was something like, is the Constitution a living document? Well, no. Think of the Constitution as your set of rules, right? The rules that the government has to go by. And if the rules are always changing, let's say I invite you over to the house tonight, and we'll play a couple of hands of poker. And we say, all right, well, what are the rules? Well, we're going to figure that out as we go. That's a living document, right? So I just thought it was a really interesting comparison. But Matt's absolutely correct in that because you need 2/3, it is a living document because it requires 2/3. But they made it like a living document that needs an absolute insane amount of life support in order to get that to happen.
Can I give you the best analogy that I heard? And I should have brought it to you, but I know we settled this and I just never brought it back to you. It's open heart surgery versus getting a finger in the colon.
Yes. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to come up and put their finger in your colon, no, it's not going to happen. But if you want to go ahead and have a doctor do open heart surgery, that's something also that you don't want to happen, but you absolutely need to survive. That's how the Constitution works, is that you have to sometimes perform surgery on that, but there has to be consent. And the consent of the governed is the 2/3 majority. And to change an amendment is the 3/4 majority, also consent. But if you just want to go ahead and get willy-nilly and change the rules just because you want to, that is where it is not a living document.
Right.
And you must You must have a power of attorney, essentially, to go ahead and do those life-saving options that the Constitution needs from time to time. Now, a finger in the colon also is necessary, and maybe the doctor doesn't recognize it as who's a heart surgeon. So you go to a proctologist. And although you don't want random Joe Blow shoving a finger in your colon, a doctor doing it can. So the Constitution was also very specific with which chambers and which branches of government could and could not perform those life-saving tasks on the Constitution. It's a really interesting analogy, and it works like the baseball one when you're trying to figure out government. But the whole point of this, the Republican Party essentially was born out of classic liberalism, which was founded with Thomas Jefferson, with the Democratic Republicans. However, they did branch off and form into the Democrats of today. But the Democrats of yesteryear did look very similar to the GOP of today, at least when it came to big government. And when you look at the Republicans, they looked very much like the Democrats, which was the expansion of governmental influence in our country. Once again, though, it's kind of like the Old Testament. We didn't know how to live. We were sinners. We were ravages. We didn't understand about moral code and law. So God had to write us a very strict and very stern regulatory book to help us understand how to be morally sound, so we all wouldn't get turned into salt. And then the New Testament comes in, which is a little more relaxed and a little bit more friendly, because we've moved and graduated in the process toward God closer, never reaching that goal. Government was the same way, is that we needed to build it in order to restrict it.
Man.
Does that make sense, what I just said? Build it in order to restrict it.
It absolutely does. I just sent you a link to that exact Walter Williams comment.
Sure.
If you wanted to play it, it's about a minute and 25 into the video where he makes that comparison. And I understand.
Let's do the $10 real quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
WR332. I was reading PBS, and they had said that Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr, Republican Party, who held power from 1800 to 1825, are the direct ancestors of today's Democratic Party. Thoughts? And thank you. Yes, but Thomas Jefferson had amazing influence in the current Republican Party of today with thoughts on limited government and downsizing of government. So both parties were created out of classic liberalism. I'm going to explain that in a second. I want to watch this video. And we'll go.
If you go into about a minute 25 from there and you let it play for about a minute, you'll get his perspective on it. And I understand what he's saying. He's not entirely right, but he's also not entirely wrong. And Matt and I, we just got done covering it, but I did want everyone to see it because I just felt he was such a brilliant man.
Yeah, I love.
Walter was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Did you send me from the timestamp? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's the best way to share. Man, he very much reminds me of Ben Carson, the way he talks.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I heard him through the speaker. We'll see if I really believe that here in a second. Hold on.
Represents the relationship that we should have, we have between American and Americans and government. You'll hear some attorneys say, well, a narrow interpretation of the Constitution is wrong because the Constitution is a living document. And anyone who says that the Constitution is a living document is also saying that we do not have a Constitution. Because for the rules of the game to mean anything, they have to be fixed. Or another way to put it is to ask you, how many of you would like to play me poker tonight and the rules be living? You know, maybe my two pair under certain circumstances can beat your three of the kind. You know. Now the founders, in their wisdom, they gave us Article 5 because as a means to amend the United States Constitution, because they recognized that some changes might have to be made. But again, I think that the purpose of the Constitution is to lay out the rules of the game, and also the purpose of the Constitution is to limit what the government can do.
There it
to
is.
Limit the
That's actually
power of,
that's exactly right. I mean, that's it. And
Yeah.
in order to do that, you had to build it.
Yeah.
Because remember, these are the framers. I mean, this is like a house. What do you want the color of your walls to be? Well, you can't decide that until you go ahead and you put up the frame, put up electrical, put up
Right.
plumbing, and go ahead and add some drywall and some insulation. So they had to get the bones of the thing before they could skin it. I want to talk about this because I love that. I'm going to save that, by the way. I'll probably do a video on it tomorrow. I want to make sure everyone understands what classic liberalism is. See, it's a trigger word. You hear classical liberalism, and you're like, oh, it's Democrats.
That's me. No, that's me.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah, I'm a
really?
classical liberal. Oh yeah.
No. What I'm saying is you hear classic liberalism and you go, oh, this is Democrat stuff.
Oh,
No,
you mean
it's
like
not.
modern day liberalism?
Yeah. It's like us. No, just like when you hear Democratic Republicans, you're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No,
Right.
it's not, because I'll explain it to you. All right. So Democratic and Republican parties, they both evolved from different strands of classic liberalism, though. Right. So that's really important. Still classic liberalism, but different strands of it. And there was a lot of influence. There was a lot of ideas being kicked around. You have to understand that. So the Democratic Party roots came from Thomas Jefferson, like I said earlier, the Democratic Republicans, right? They wanted small government, states' rights, individual liberty. These are classic liberal views, the core of them. Republican Party's roots, those came from, like I said, 1850. Anti-slavery, the Whigs and the Free Soilers came from Lincoln, and they valued very specific things, which is liberty and equality. But listen, they supported a larger federal role to protect those freedoms because they believed the states would not.
Right.
They had no choice. We wouldn't have seen a two-party system if it wasn't for slavery, because slavery came down to, that the southern states would not follow unless the federal government had incredible power. Jeffrey Styles donated 15 through Super Chat. Amazing show so far. Good, because it's going to get better. So now that you've got that, so they both came from the liberal idea of individual rights and limited power, but they diverged. Democrats leaned toward Jefferson's, which was agrarian and state-centered vision, agrarian. And the Republicans leaned towards Lincoln's constitutional and moral vision of liberty under law. But here are the classic liberal traits. Listen to this. Natural rights, we've all heard this, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and property no government should violate. Limited government exists, only protect those rights. Free markets, rule of law, and freedom of speech and religion. So both parties had those core fundamental values, but they branched off and diverged because of slavery. Slavery really was the thing that changed the course. Jeffrey Styles is really helping out tonight, folks. We're at 7640. We're an hour in.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
We got to hit the donations. Last night, we did an amazing job. We gave BRBC Church $500. Olivia and I bumped it up. And I want to say thank you. It was a great show last night, and Pastor was humbled. I mean, he got out of here quick because of his humility. But you guys were amazing, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Yes, Democrats hijacked liberalism. Yes, they redefined it as they do with everything. And that is what liberals, that's what socialists do.
It, yeah.
Yeah, they change words
the meaning of the words,
and the meaning of the words in order to mask what it truly is. Democratic socialist, which is completely antithetical to our nation's history. Socialism is antithetical to our Constitution and capitalistic society. 100%.
As you're sipping that, when these become available again, folks, everything that Matt and I are talking about are in the documents of freedom. And if at some point when they become available again, you'd like to keep up with Matt and I when we discuss this kind of thing, here's your chance.
Yes, we would appreciate. I also have the Big Democrat book, which is somewhere.
Yes.
But that's a big Constitution, and that one's got all the framers in it. JD says, got my Freedom hoodie today. So freaking sweet. Nice fabric. I'm wearing it out for Halloween. Dude, I'm wearing our hoodies are the most comfortable hoodies. I'm wearing it all day. I hate hoodies, but these are athletic fit. They hug your body. You don't look like a freaking fat ass in them, and I love them. All right, so now that we've established that, there was one other question, which was given by Loretta, and she said, what's a haymaker in politics? It's just like exactly like it is in boxing. It's putting all your effort into a extremely
Single
powerful
punch.
blow. Yeah, and single punch, and it's essentially it's a political coup d'état against a person's character. It's releasing information of a very large magnitude. A lot of people will know this as the October surprise. You hear this in politics is also haymakers, and they happen. Gary Hart comes to mind. Grab him by the pussy, pardon the language, for Donald Trump. That's a big one. The Hillary Clinton emails, these are all haymakers, and essentially it's been the vernacular of haymaker has been changed to an October surprise, but that's really what it is. And once again, changed again because vernacular is important to the liberals. That's it. So yeah, political haymaker. All right. Good enough, folks. Once again, what we're going to do now is we're going to play a quick commercial because we got to hit goal, come back. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. We got off on a tangent, a good one. We haven't done that in a while, dude. I felt good.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit, and I kind of like it when it's like a primer to the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So that everyone gets a good frame of mind before we start attacking topics. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to go to the donate commercial, 3 minutes. So you guys can get a pee break in, which I'm going to go in overtime tonight because I was late. So I will go to probably, if we hit goal, 9:45. So we got to hit it. So let's go after it. Once again, we are funded by y'all. We've got a Facebook account. We make money off a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of YouTube. We no longer have a sponsor, but really the donations that you bring in are not required, but they are appreciated. Here's a commercial talking all about it with my family and I. We figured we'd make something that was a little bit fun and not too boring. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Olivia Spear, host of The Dumb Show. For 3.5 years, we never asked for donations, but after Facebook demonetized us for speaking the truth, we've had to turn to the one thing big tech can't cancel: you.
I'm Hayden, Matt and Olivia's daughter. This show's never chased sponsors or sold out. We've built something honest, and it's thanks to you.
I'm Ethan, their son. Every share, every dollar, every message, you're the reason we can keep calling out the BS and bringing color back to the world going gray.
If you want to help, we take PayPal, Venmo, or snail mail. You can send it to P.O. Box 2, Round Hill, Virginia 20142.
Can't donate? No problem. Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored. You can donate at thedumbshow.com/donate.
You know what happens when you turn the dial harder? You can make a harder grimace. The harder you grimace, the more effective it is.
You tighten it so frickin' I can't do it. I can't untighten
That's
it.
what she said.
That's what she's. Oof. Oof. Coming in with it. Pound it. Pound it. Pound. This is
Child
for you.
got 15.
Ethan, you look like a hippie.
Told the YouTube your wall.
You know this is recording, right?
Okay, let's go. Smile. Donate. Don't start with me. Donations. Every time you don't smile, I'm going to punch you in the ribs. Donations. Take one. Scene one. Ready. Set. Ethan.
Break.
Ready. Don't screw it up.
Okay.
Ethan, don't mess this up. Ready. Set. Action. No. Whoa. Director calls action, not some stupid toddler.
But we've built something
There's no but there. Why do you've been doing this since you were 2 years old. Try it again.
Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
He's so much better than you at everything.
It's better than
Hayden, he's just like, even, it's just, go ahead, Hayden.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored.
That's a wrap. Well done, Spear family. I bet we make no money.
But we're gonna owe them money without.
Hayden, do your thing again.
Oh yeah, cut it.
Baby shark doo 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 doo.
Yes, thank you, Dumb Nation, for helping us out and giving us an opportunity to stay on live. Somebody just said it took them 8 years to, yep, Ronald Reagan said haymaker. FDR.
And if I'm not mistaken, Reagan also coined "Let's make America great again."
A rendition of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So did Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton did it too.
Yeah.
But so did Goebbels and Hitler. So
good old Adolf.
There's only so many words in the English language in German. So occasionally an idea might cross-pollinate. I mean, wait till the Democrats find out that most of their ideology comes from socialism.
What?
And progressivism. Oh, geez. But to answer your question, somebody said I was watching a streamer this morning. He said it took 8 years before he made any money on YouTube. Took us 5. JD Stillwell, $30. Little McKinnon money for goal. Dude, I'm glad I could help out. Let me know whatever I can do. We signed niches for 8 years, by the way, for 11.5.
Thank you, JD. It also begs the question, at what point does progressivism turn into regressivism? At what point do all of your efforts start squashing the liberties of somebody else?
It depends on the intent of the
Right.
if you're progressing just for the sake of progressing, that's regressivism.
Yeah.
If you're progressing for the good and the betterment of the individual liberties of the people of this country, then progressive politics aren't a bad thing. But most of the time, progressivism is basically code word for globalism, and that's the issue.
Yes.
So
because at some point the government was supposed to see the idea behind progressivism was that the government would see everyone equally without any regard to sex, race, religion, etc.
Yeah.
And at some point, people started to try and put their fingers on the scale.
Yeah, and by the way, EBT and SNAP and all that, I understand it's necessity for people. I understand that 42 million Americans need it, according to them, and that's fine. But there's some serious questions about it. And we've got a question about the obesity level. We've got to also question that you're guaranteed life and liberty, but the pursuit of happiness is your own. And it's not the government's job to feed you. It's not the government's job to do anything except secure and defend your rights. That's their job.
Exactly. Your liberties, yeah.
And so when we sit here and say, well, the government needs to provide me health care, the government needs to, it's the wrong country. The government is not responsible for any of those things, because if the government gives it to you, the government can take it away, which is why your rights are inalienable under the Bill of Rights. They can't take them away. Even if they try to lock you up and throw you in prison, you still have your rights. I understand it may not feel like it. WR32, vernacular may be important to liberals. Funny, though, it seems that etymology isn't important to them. First of all, congratulations on using etymology correctly. Second, that is a quote that should be tattooed across every liberal's ass.
Yeah.
When they're looking at their boyfriend, they'll figure it out. But that is a fantastic quote. And
Actually,
honestly,
put that back up so I can screen grab it. And what I'm going to do is share that at some point.
Oh, it's a really good one. Vernacular may be important to liberals. Funny, though, it seems etymology isn't as important to them. It's really,
I love that.
And what he's basically saying is vernacular is ultimately the words we use and the words we choose, and etymology is the birth of the word or the origin of a word and its meaning.
Right.
So when liberals do one without the other, that's called nuance. They don't believe in nuance. YouTube super chat, $5.
And it's not like any American words have, more than one meaning.
Right. Like
we're the worst offender of that.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into this. How long have you been, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. How long have you been hearing about global warming?
Oh, back in the 70s, it was the potential we were going to go into global freezing. I'd say it's been, 30 years, global warming?
Walter Wilson, peace and prosperity, $5. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
So, yeah, I mean, well,
30 years?
Let's walk through it. Let's walk through it. I mean, Freon, the ozone, radon, Aquanet, air conditioners, the rainforest, CO2 emissions, global freezing into an ice age. No, it's global warming. No, it's climate change. No, it's murder hornets.
The ocean level is going to rise. Sure.
Nuclear meltdown on all over. We're going to have the China syndrome. It's always something.
2012.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Y2K.
It took about 10 years of Donald Trump, but climate change, I think, is on the way out. And let me explain something else. Don't you remember all the hurricanes that happened 2017, Hurricane Harvey and all the Katrina and everything? However, all these hurricanes that we've had not one major hurricane make landfall this hurricane season. It kind of puts a a little bit of a thorn in global warming's conversation. And I will tell you, the global elites are shifting away from it. The Paris Accord, the Al Gores. Bill Gates today repudiated climate change and espoused on the national stage that the doom and gloom around climate change is an overreaction. But I'm going to show you 7, 8, 10 years ago that he was saying exactly the opposite, something completely antithetical to what he's saying now. Listen to this.
Bill Gates has finally admitted that climate doomerism is a mistake after years of saying stuff like this.
The world emits over 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases. And as we keep doing that, the consequences for human life will be catastrophic. And time is running out.
Bill Gates now says this: climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. Climate realists like Judith Curry, Steve Koonin, Michael Schellenberger, Alex Epstein, Roger Pike Jr., and Bjorn Lomborg have been saying this exact thing for years, that climate change is not an existential threat, and that the singular obsession with carbon emissions has distracted us from solving real problems. But those scientists and writers were ostracized. They were censored on social media, protested, and in some cases, pushed out of their jobs. They were mocked as climate deniers for saying the same thing Bill Gates is finally admitting today. I'm glad Bill Gates has come around to common sense. Yes, the planet is warming, but it's not the biggest problem we face, and it's something humans are more than capable of adapting to. We've already adapted to 1.3 degrees of warming over the past 150 years, a period that also happens to be the most prosperous and productive time in human history. I welcome this shift to common sense, even though the climate doomerism Gates helped create has fueled a mental health crisis among young people. Half of young people polled by Lancet say they felt sad, anxious, angry, and helpless because of climate change. A 2025 study found that 1 in 5 young people in the U.S. were afraid to have children because of climate fears. I welcome this shift from Gates, even though for decades developing countries in Africa have been forced to jump through absurd hoops to meet the West's net zero goals, when we know that developing with fossil fuels is cheaper, faster, and more reliable than the renewable projects we pressured them to build to make ourselves feel virtuous. Meanwhile, the West still gets 80% of its energy from fossil fuels. Now Gates says this is a chance to refocus on the metric that should count even more than emissions and temperature change, improving lives. And Bill says we should now focus our international resources on addressing poverty and disease. And I agree. But if he's serious about making things better, it should start with an apology tour. Apologize to the scientists who were punished for speaking the truth. Apologize to the young people who sacrificed their futures because of the fear you helped spread. And apologize to the developing countries that were forced to stay poor, chasing green technologies that don't even work.
Very well said. Very well.
Very well
written.
said.
Yeah.
I would add one thing.
Sure.
For all of the carbon that we have used as energy, right? So for coal, oil, all of that. Apparently, there's been several studies released on the subject that because of all of that carbon that is now in the air, it has done nothing but help plant life grow at a much faster rate. So in a very real sense, it's almost like we're fertilizing, but through the air.
Well, and that's listen.
We're helping the plants to breathe, Matt. We're helping the plants to breathe.
Science. Well, we are too when we eat red meat. So let's just get off the climate change thing, because everyone else, Greta Thunberg, have you ever
right?
All she's talking about is hating Jews. So, and bringing food and water with nothing in her boats and her flotilla. But seeing Al Gore completely melt down and scramble, he very much looks like a person whose marbles have all fallen out of the bag, and he's desperately trying to collect all the people who've supported him and made him a multi-billionaire. The funny thing, if you look at people who have done things like this before, there's been people who've sold self-help books that are fake, snake oil salesmen who come on. Why isn't Al Gore facing federal? Well, why isn't he facing federal charges? Al Gore should be. He's running a confidence scheme. He manipulated and used false data, lied to people, told them that giving him money would reduce their carbon footprint. Did it do any of those things? So you're not allowed to go ahead and say something. Let's go ahead and say, like, last night I collected that $500 and I didn't send it to the church. Could I be liable for that? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely I can. I'm raising dollars on a false pretense, and done with enough size and frequency. Take a look at some of the mega churches that did this with Tammy Faye, and
sure,
they did it, and they lined their own pockets and stole people's money and invested it in ways they shouldn't. And we saw this with some of these, cryptocurrency guys who did this and ran these Ponzi schemes and stock dumps and penny stocks. I mean, all of this is accountable.
I know what you're saying, because on one side of the scale, you're saying everyone has free speech. You have the absolute right to say whatever the hell you want, just so long as it doesn't endanger lives in the immediate, right? But on the other side, great example, you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater. Okay. How is yelling fire in a crowded theater any different than AOC 6 years ago saying the world is going to end in 12 years?
Well, because she didn't profit from it. And there's the difference. She's allowed to have an opinion. And you can say fire in a theater. There's no law against it. It's the consequence of what happens if there are damages to other people's individual liberties. So if AOC, Liv is yelling at me, donation clock. Folks, we're 200. Oh, we're a long way away. So we're going to need to, let me move that over. Happy Halloween.
So if you slow roll your claims, then it's okay?
No, the point is that she didn't do anything to profit off of her statement, and she has protected speech under the Constitution. There's a speech clause for politicians that while they're on the job, they can essentially tell you that the sky is purple, and they are protected 100% from any types of civil lawsuits or any wrongdoing whatsoever. This clause gives them indemnity to do whatever they want. But in either way, she didn't profit from it. So what Al Gore did was lie to the general public, used information that was incontrovertibly false, and told people that by donating to reduce giving him money would reduce their carbon footprint. This is very much like people selling heaven, like Tammy Faye and Jim Baker, who said, give us tens of thousands of dollars and you'll get into heaven.
Right.
So you can't, the moment that your speech, as you know, infringes upon your personal rights, that is when your free speech ends. So I think Al Gore, I think he should be sued. And I think a class action lawsuit would be an amazing thing, because he made promises that never took place, and he keeps moving the goalposts, and he's selling fear porn. In my opinion, that shouldn't be legal. It's a snake oil salesman. You say, drink this tonic and you'll be cured. So you do, and then you don't, and you die.
Yeah.
You're making a promise. You're selling something that is under false pretense. It's illegal. You can't do it. This is pet rock.
You mean like if I get this injection, I'm not going to get sick with COVID?
Right. That's different. Who profited from that? Nobody. It was just all by natural organic means. All right. So, yeah, right. Anyway, so something to think about. Sliwa, listen, I understand why Donald Trump has not endorsed this guy now. I get it. And I'm not trying to be rude, but this guy's a blowhard. I liked him at first, but then I started listening to him, and he's just, this guy is not in it to win. He's just in it to screw the system, and he's a rebel without a cause. And he can come on my show and I'll tell him that personally. I've listened to his lack of policies. He had no chance to win. I said he shouldn't drop out. And if he doesn't want to drop out, he's the GOP candidate. He has no responsibility to drop out to help the independent candidate. That's stupid. But he's not trying to win. And he won't listen to anybody. He just went on Newsmax and just tore them a new asshole for no reason. Pardon my French, sorry. And that's one tonight. And I told you guys, the beret thing is a bit much. It distracts. but it's also that he won't listen to anyone's feedback. And the guy on Newsmax is hitting him, but his reaction is just, it's emotions. And he just listen, and you guys tell me, maybe I'm wrong. And I don't think he's a bad guy. I just don't think he has a chance, snowball's chance in hell, and it's because of the way he talks. And remember, he ran for it before, and he got like 24% of the vote. He's doing worse this time. There's not
Looks
a snowball.
like Grambo.
That's funny.
Grandpa in
November.
No, you don't. If you have to explain the joke, it's no good, and it was fine.
I'm
on its own.
mansplaining. That's what I do.
No mansplaining. Go manspread, but don't mansplain.
November, why aren't you on the phone with the White House asking?
This is what I said.
Come on the
Why
phone
aren't
with
you
the
getting
White
the endorsement from Trump?
House
Right.
asking.
Okay, I got a ballot. Great time to donate, folks. We are not doing great tonight, and it's been a kind of a tough couple nights. And I know it's because it's the end of the month and people are saving up for rent and they're trying to hit it. Don't feel obligated. If you can help out, we would appreciate it. If you can't, it's okay.
There's a lot going on with the government
White
right
House
now that I
asking-
completely understand.
Yeah, we want to try to get a little closer, but just do what you can. Do what you can. All right, here it is.
November, why aren't you on the phone with the White House asking
It'll pitch.
come endorse you and campaign with you in his hometown, New York City?
I welcome the presidential endorsement. He first saved Eric Adams from going to jail. The guy was the most crooked mayor in the history of New York City. That's the other guy who put us into this mess. If Eric Adams had been a halfway decent mayor, it would.
You're not running against Eric Adams, yo.
Yeah.
Bubba donated 25 dumb flicks. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Bubba. He's just at this point, Sliwa is just trying to talk because he thinks he has something to say.
Yeah.
He's just trying to fill that dead air.
You're not running against Eric Adams. You're not running against Cuomo. You're running against Mamdani. And you can beat Cuomo and still you're going to lose. That's the terrifying thing. Here's the rest.
Round two, like in 2021, the incumbent Democrat, Eric Adams versus Curtis Sliwa. So Adams and Cuomo got us into this mess, and you want me to jump onto a parachute?
No, I'm not asking you to jump out. But I'm not asking you to jump out. But you sound like a defeated man already, and it's not even election day. Curtis, 2021.
What do you mean I'm defeated?
Let me just say
I'm
this.
20 hours a day of a 24-hour a day.
I'm not disputing that you're out there every day.
Your candidate, Cuomo, has been off the campaign trail for 10 days, according to the New York Post. Don't say I'm a defeated candidate, because I'm fighting for Republican principles, law and order principles, quality of life principles. Maybe you like living in a city where they lock up toothpaste and don't lock up criminals, but that's because of Andrew Cuomo.
WR332 donated $5 through Super. Hold on, I gotta read this off, man. Donated $5 through Super Chat. Red Beret. Is he an airborne? No, he's not airborne. He's a guardian angel.
Sorhan Mandami.
I do not.
I am the
Curtis,
one that can recover this city like Rudy Giuliani did in 1993. Why is Rudy Giuliani supporting me? Why is Governor Pataki supporting me? Because they know the answer is Sliwa for mayor, Republican, 2025, Elise Stefanik for governor to take out Hochul 2026, and we get New York State, New York City back on track. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah,
you want to become Democrats? Go
Curtis,
ahead. You'll be run by socialists.
We're going to be run by socialists. And don't for a second assume that I want Andrew Cuomo to win this race. But in 2021, you had the two-man race. You only got 27% of the vote head-to-head against Eric Adams. And the numbers look even worse this time around. So I'm wondering if you know something that I don't know. Besides this grassroots, you're going to take care of animals. I think that's terrific. But do you have internal polling that suggests anything outside of what Polymarket says, and they give you less than 1% chance at winning next Tuesday?
Oh, here we go, gambling. You know, you're really reaching. The polls said that Andrew Cuomo was 40% ahead of Zoran Mandami at 1% on March 1st of 2025. 3.5 months later, Andrew Cuomo, who was waiting for a coronation, lost by 13%. You keep looking at the polls. I'll look to the people. I'll keep working the streets and subways 20 hours of a 24-hour day. And guess what? We're going to let the people decide. One person, one vote. Not the billionaires, not the insiders, not the influencers. How novel to let the people vote and determine who their mayor is. Let Cuomo get his vote out. Let Zoran get.
This is a fantastic speech when you're running for city council. This
Right.
is not something.
This is not mayoral.
This is a national campaign, bro. You're nationally being seen, and relatives are in Iowa are watching this and calling people in New York and saying, "Are you going to go ahead and vote for this
for the madman
wannabe Special Forces airborne
Grambo?"
Yeah. Here's the rest.
Yeah.
Vote out. I'll get my vote out, and we'll let the people decide by the night of November 4th.
Okay, Curtis, and I hope you have a historic night next Tuesday. I truly do. But let's say Zohran Mandami, this Marxist Muslim radical, let's say he is the next mayor of this city, and that's your legacy. Then what, Curtis?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Andrew Cuomo, the one that you're flirting with,
not
he
Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, not Andrew Cuomo. I'm asking Curtis Sliwa.
You're not running against
him. You're flirting with Cuomo. He said he would leave New York City and flee to Florida. I fight for what I know is right. Improve, don't move. If I happen to lose to Zohran Mandami, I become his worst nightmare. I pitch my Republican flag and my Republican law and order values, and I fight. That's what Republicans do. They don't surrender. They don't
Thank you,
retreat,
CJ. I got a new phone, and for the life of me, I can't figure it out. Hope this helps. CJ, call us. Call us after the show.
CJ.
We'll help you figure it out.
When do Republicans drop out? Do you remember when DeSantis was being touted as the next presidential nominee? The New York Post had a front page headline, Donald, drop out. Did Donald Trump drop out?
No, but DeSantis did.
Donald Trump went on to become...
No, but DeSantis because DeSantis wasn't even close in the polls to Trump. Trump has not given up a primary lead since 2016 in week 3. That guy has been the de facto leader of the Republican Party for the last 10 years since he came down from the golden escalator. And he went through 37 different primarial candidates and destroyed them all. Give me a break, dude. You are not Donald Trump. You're not even a pimple on his ass. Go ahead.
It's like some New Yorkers, specifically the ones in politics, suffer from some New York-esque version, only New York-esque, of, an ADD, HD kind of thing. It's like they all have it because none of them can answer the question. They just go off on these tangents.
He used to.
What he was actually asking was, hey, what's going to happen if you lose, right? What is going to be your next step? And this guy's talking about other people. He's not talking. The most responsible thing he could have done at that point was to slow down and say, I am not leaving New York, and if I end up losing, then I will still fight in any way I can for the people of New York, no matter my position. That would have been a far better answer.
Here's a better answer. Here are my policies that are going to counteract Mamdani's, and I'm going to lay them out for you, and we are going to make this a race based upon policy, because ethnicity isn't going to fix this. That's a liberal talking point. Political affiliation isn't going to do that. Political ideology, your level of theocracy, lack thereof, isn't going to do it. It's going to be policy. Here are my 3 things I'm going to do. I'm going to expand and invest in the police force. We are going to look at a city-run education and how we go ahead and educate young people in the city. And we've got to look at cost of living. We have to figure out a way of how we can make it affordable to live in New York City so businesses come back that we've lost because of these horrible policies that we had under Cuomo.
Yeah.
How we had under Eric Adams, who we had under de Blasio. We need to get back to the days of Rudy Giuliani, which is go through the legal precedent and the rule of law to incentivize people to come back to one of the safest cities in America, where it's one of the most productive in America. That's how we do it. Here's my 5-step plan. Nope. It's Cuomo's a jerk, and so is Eric Adams. That doesn't nobody.
And you're sucking up to him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Insult the people who are putting you on in front of thousands, tens of thousands of people.
Exactly.
It's retarded. It's literally here is my meme for this. And I hope I'm not losing donations from this, but I really don't care at this point. Here is my, do I have it? Yeah, I do. Here's my meme. This is for this. The word retard is not meant for people with handicaps. It's meant for non-handicapped people that are stupid. If you don't understand this, you're a retard. I really want to put that up, but I'm afraid I'll get banned. Here's the last 30 seconds.
president again because he fights.
Curtis, I know, and again, with all due respect, you are not Donald Trump. Donald Trump 2024 got 29% of the vote in New York City. If you want to talk about Donald Trump. Last November, he only got 29%. And that's Donald Trump, and this is his hometown.
Yep.
I certainly hope you do better next Tuesday. I hope you are the next mayor of this city. Curtis Suila, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
That's right. Let the people decide.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
Wow.
So I'm done. I'm just bro, whoever your campaign advisor is, go and take that fist and punch him square in the mouth, because you're not listening to anybody. And, you've just gone off the rails. You're going to lose. And that is instead of tilting, perhaps it's time to withdraw. Not give up, be the GOP, but why don't you lay the groundwork for the next GOP candidate? Why don't you go ahead and start talking about Elise Stefanik and focus on her for the governor race, for the gubernatorial race? You want to get in Donald Trump's good graces? You might want to go ahead and grease the wheels for Stefanik. You might want to tell your 16% to get behind Stefanik and make sure that they vote for her. You could be doing so much more, because you're not going to win. So you might as well be doing something to possibly see yourself in a position when Elise Stefanik becomes a governor, because she could make you Secretary of Transportation. She could put you in some sort of governmental role inside New York, where it's working as a liaison for the officers there. I don't know what it is, or maybe doing a neighborhood watch crime incentive in the city and in the state that has gone by the wayside. Something we did in the 80s and 90s that was really effective. Whatever it is, you're done. You're not going to win. You're not interested in running against Mamdani, so use your position right now to grease the wheels for Stefanik. You're not doing that. You mentioned her name one time. You mentioned Mamdani in that entire thing 0 times. Zero. That's your opponent, dude.
There is something to be said about politicians who don't know their own likability scale, like Kamala.
Yeah.
If you're not likable,
oh yeah,
not going to win.
Yeah.
And this guy was just about as offensive on several different topics as he could possibly come across. He's not likable.
I like him. I want to have a beer with him. I want to sit down with him. I want to go ahead and sit on a park bench and have a cigar and make fun of liberals as they walk by with this guy. I want to go play shuffleboard or bocce ball with this guy, because he'd just be a hoot. I go hunting with him. I don't want him to be the GOP candidate. He is the opposite of Mohammed Oz. He's a knucklehead like Herschel Walker. And he's as arrogant as Carrie Lake. And that's why all three of them didn't win. I'm sorry. These candidates that we're putting up, we have an amazing party right now. We should be modeling every GOP candidate like J.D. Vance. We should be modeling every single House of Representative as Eli Crane. Those are your two models, not Marjorie Taylor Greene, which flip-flops like the National House of Pancakes. You've got to put good candidates in these positions. In Virginia, Winsome Sears is a good candidate. Let's get behind her. Let's make it happen, right? You've got Citarelli in New Jersey. That's the guy you want in New York. That's the guy who could win in New York. Citarelli is an amazing politician, and he's a blue collar worker. He's an amazing human being. That's what you want. I'm sorry, Sliwa. I wanted to love you, but it just didn't happen, buddy. We didn't make a love connection.
I think my point is that, when you're talking about the bell curve and what's going to win an election, which is the most votes, right? He's not in the center. There's not enough of a likability scale on the guy.
Oh yeah.
He is too far. He is too far to one direction. And it's not that, and that's not even the problem. It's that he's too far to one direction with that attitude. That's what I mean. I actually do like him. What I'm saying is that he's not likable to the majority of households. I could see that.
Can I put it in a different way?
Yeah.
He is Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino, but you need Clint Eastwood in the Line of Fire.
Yes.
He's Clint Eastwood. He's just the wrong Clint Eastwood. right? He's get off my lawn versus I know things about pigeons, Lily. Just give me that look back. Just that one little look back. You know, that's the guy you
put all
need.
the shit on. Yeah.
Right. He's just I gotta put all this shit back on. That's twice. I'm working on it. So here is a video that will make everyone feel much, much better. Folks, we are at 167.50. We missed it the night before last, which is okay. Not worried about that. That's no big deal. But we're getting close to, never mind. Frank Wood, $50. Thank you, Frank, for coming in and saving the day. We need donations, people. Let's go. Thank you, Frankie. Hey, we got 11 minutes. I have faith that we'll hit it. 217. We're right there. I'm not going to mention it. Here we go. Let's go to this video. This one is beautiful. This guy keeps calling for it. This guy has pepper spray. And he's like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Well, he got it. And he didn't like it when he got it. This is one of these feel goods. Here it is. You watching their sexy pants?
Yep.
So what the fuck you gonna do, nigga? Fuck you gonna do, bitch? Do that shit, nigga. Do that shit. Do that shit, perra. Something, nigga. Do that shit. Fucking do that shit, bitch. Do that shit, bitch. Fucking do that shit, nigga.
Oh.
Fuck. I told you to get the fuck out of my face, did I not?
Fuck, nigga.
Get out of my face. Shut the fuck up, you bitch.
He warned you.
I told you to get out of my face. Fucking bitch.
Do it again. Do it again.
Make it worse. Fucking puto.
God.
Nigga, that's fucked up.
It's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Listen, I grew up with Latinos and Mexicans and Chicanos, and they never say nigga. They just what's going on? My Mexican brothers and sisters, what's going on, man? I mean, when you start after a little bit, you start saying puta and pinche cabrón and pinche maricón. That's fine. That's muy bien. But why are you talking like black guys? I mean, seriously, get your street cred going, man. Just saying. Street rep, Tupac. Make it happen. This is interesting. Like, when racist starts sounding based, we've got a problem. Like, it's hard for me now because I'm like, I think this is racist, but it really...
I guess that would depend on who's being racist, right?
Well, hear me out. I'm not saying it's racist. What I'm saying is that based upon criterion, this is most assuredly racist, but it's also absolutely true. But, right.
I want to hear it.
It just makes me sad. It's like me watching the Burn Pit podcast, and listening to the Burn Pit, and I'm like, yeah, these guys are very anti-Semitic. They're very racist, but some of the stuff they say is true. It's very much like Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a complete bigot, but he says things that are true, and you're like, how do I wait? Tucker Carlson's a perfect example. He's mentioned the word Jew 867 times in less than 7 months. He's very much anti-Semitic. We're going to talk about him in a second. But he also says things that are true. It's frustrating. Listen, you'll know what I'm talking about. Here it is. First of all, this guy looks like he should be in the what's the comic? The
Looks
Watchmen.
like he's getting ready to steal a painting out of the Thomas Crown Affair.
Right, or the Watchmen, right? He should be in the Watchmen. And his name would be like the Silver Fox in the Watchmen.
Right. He's got a code name.
He does look like he should have a green apple underneath his
Silver
hat.
alert.
A green apple right here.
Just call me Renee Marguerite.
Oh, it's so good. Was it a Rembrandt? Okay, here we go. Ready?
Because that's what it seems like. It seems like racist equals white. Because no black man can be racist to me. If I criticize a Jew, I'm an anti-Semite. If I criticize an Islamic, I'm an Islamophobe. What are you if you criticize me? What are if you try and replace me? What are you if you try and tell me I'm wrong for wanting to protect my children? Apparently, you're a perfectly reasonable person. But I'm a racist for wanting to protect my future. No, bullshit. I don't accept the 14 words as a thing. I think it's ridiculous that anyone could even say that they own this concept, as every human thinks this thing. Black people go on and on and on about black. Asians, like Indians, will tell you that India is the best at this. This is Indian, that's Indian, everything's brilliant that is Indian. Good for you. You love your people. I'm glad for you. I love mine. But don't call me on a racist just because you don't like the word white. If you don't like the word white, maybe you shouldn't live in a white country. Like, really, if you don't like white people, go away. White people live here.
He's not wrong.
I'm really sick of it. I'll be honest. I'm really sick of it. I'm sick of us being exceptionalized. This is happening every Western country. What we used to call Christendom is under attack by its own people, by its own elite. And we're supposed to just sit here and be arrested for having an opinion. No, I'm not a racist because I'm white. I'm a racist because I'm a human. Every fucking human is racist. It's normal to love your own people more than you love other people. It's normal. The creation of the word racist doesn't suddenly make me an evil person. It's a concept. It's not even a real thing. It's called in-group bias and out-group bias. It's genetics. It's frustrating, to be honest, that these questions even exist.
I mean, it's not wrong.
He's not.
He's not right. But it's a matter of perspective and opinion. But is it possible that white people are the last marginalized group of people on planet Earth that have absolutely no chance of not being marginalized in the future?
Sure. It's possible.
Is that possible? Is it true?
Do you even have to be with a lower population than everyone else in order to be marginalized?
Well, that's my point. Because open hate against white people is completely accepted in TV commercials, in books, in music.
Sure.
Well, you can just hate white people. And he's right. There's no such thing as white phobic. There's no whiteophobia out there. Now, do I feel oppressed? No. Do I think that, oh God, I need reparations for what I've been through? No. No, I really don't. And when I walk into a neighborhood that's predominantly black, or do I like flip out?
Right.
No, not at all. No, and I don't feel threatened. And I don't feel like anybody wants to kill me because I'm white. I think people want to kill me because of my views. But I don't feel oppressed. But I'll tell you what, I'm starting to get a little itch. Starting to feel something I can't scratch. I'm starting to go, well, a lot of people don't like me because of my skin color and my age and my tattoos and being a veteran and a white cis male. There's a lot of people who don't like me. And what happens when there's more of them than me?
Get the pitchforks, right?
Well, I'm wondering, am I going to be Transylvania 6000 or what?
Right. And again, that's the whole idea behind the country where we live.
Yeah.
And the idea behind the Bill of Rights is that you have every right to say the things that you do, and you are not afforded those protections. Those protections come from God. It's our government that's there to protect those protections. And so, I don't think anybody should ever have to worry about that. But at the end of the day, some people do.
Yeah. I just want to be honest here. I'm not saying that white people deserve some special protection.
No.
What I'm saying is that the fall of Western civilization is absolutely taking place in Europe. And the United States is the last bastion of Western civilization once Europe falls. There's nothing else. When Europe falls, we're it. And it would be very easy for several countries to get into their head that if we just go ahead and eliminate the United States, something to think about, y'all. And if you think Democrats, the great replacement theory, it's not that hard to figure out, considering that Democrats are like this. No, it's not. Come on. No, we're not doing anything like this. We're not letting people in. We don't want white people replaced. Come on, bring your brother, bring your sister, bring your grandfather. Come on, you too. Hey, get the dog, get the cat. They look Mexican. And it's really hard for people to say that that's not what they were doing when that's exactly what they were doing. And when you look at healthcare and you look at SNAP and you look at benefits, and you look at per capita breakdown of these ethnic groups, you look at Afghanistan, you look at Muslims, you look at the dumping of different ethnicities into the United States, it's hard to not feel that there was some sort of effort to reduce the white influence in this country, and essentially saying there's just way too many white people. The English did it to the Irish. The English did it to the Welsh. They repopulated the entire island. They fucked so many women, and English lords would take them with prima nocta. And they did. The Japanese did it.
Yeah.
Japanese did it to China.
Yes, they did.
They did it to the Solomon Islands. And the Russians did it in the Bolshevik Revolution. And what the Cossacks would do, the Cossacks would take people, the Orthodox and the Christians, and they would slay them all. They'd just kill them. They would take their women and rape them and impregnate them. And that's, it's not like this hasn't happened before. Go ahead.
This happened 2 years ago. Russia had taken a slew, just thousands of Ukrainian children, right? Brought them back to Russia and is trying to raise them as Russians.
Right. Is it wrong to want to live next to neighbors who are like-minded? Now, I don't believe living next to white neighbors is what I want. In any way, shape, or form. But I want like-minded people from political and theological principles.
That's it right there.
Yeah. I want people who believe in what I believe. I don't want somebody who crosses me who believes that they have a right to my stereo, as long as they can break in and not trip the alarm. I don't want those people. And I don't care what color you are. But I want people of like-minded moral values living next to me. I've got Native American, Indians next to me. We've got Jews next to me. I've got wonderful black families all over the place, Latin families. I don't have a problem with anybody.
So do we.
I don't care. I would prefer it that way. I want people of like-minded values. That's what I want. And I don't care what color you are. Folks, we have hit our timer. We're at 0. It's 9 o'clock. What's your hard stop tonight there, Leeroy? Because we got a whole bunch
It was
of
9
stuff.
o'clock.
Get out of here.
It was 9
See
o'clock.
Ya. Love you. Bye.
I will see you guys. I love you guys. Behave yourselves and take care of each other, will you?
Love you, brother. Good to see you, man.
Yep.
Good show tonight. Well done. Good night. Leeroy Jenkins, everybody, my good friend. We're not going anywhere. We can't. We got to hit goal. So let's make it happen. And I've got a bunch. And honestly, now I can just rip through because I got a ton of stuff to go over. So hang tight. We're not going anywhere. Ann Coulter. I don't like Ann Coulter. I really dislike Ann Coulter. She drives me crazy. I think she's two-faced. I think she backstabbed Trump. I think she is just a spoiled little baby. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of her. I think she's politically, she sees the forest through the trees and she can see where the puck's going to be. So politically, I think she's a genius. As a human being, I'm just not a fan. Sorry, Ann. It's not Ann Coulter. What is her name? Ann Coulter? Yeah, it's Ann Coulter. Yeah. I was thinking of Ann Hesh. Doesn't look like Ann Hesh. Moving on. But I want you to listen to this because I happen to agree with what she says here. I mean, it's really true. And I've said this 100 times about J6, even though I don't condone J6 and I don't support what happened with J6. I do agree with her 120%. So let's rock and roll. We got a lot to do. I'm excited for finishing the last few hours. No Avalanche game tonight. It's just you, me, and the Christmas tree. Let's get going, folks. Would love to hit the goal if you appreciate that. And you're like, hey, you know what? Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Here's Ann Coulter and what she has to say about J6. I thought this was pretty cool.
Every day is like Christmas with Donald Trump. And like I say, it is coming even faster.
January 6, 2020 was Christmas.
When?
2020, the capital.
Wait, you're going back to that? Please stop. Oh,
Was that
God,
Christmas?
please stop.
2021.
Anything, please stop. This is all we've
We
heard
can't
about
ignore
for
what
5
happened.
years. You can turn on TV, any station, except I guess Fox, any time of day. I'm so sick of hearing how we almost lost our democracy. Obviously, the American people are too, let's, to quote liberals, move
Was
on.
it stolen? The election in 2020?
No, I said it wasn't at the time,
No.
but who cares? Please stop. It was taking over the dean's office. It wasn't an insurrection, and no one can hear about this anymore. He wouldn't have been elected in a landslide if you guys had shut up about that. But no, you had to keep saying we almost lost our democracy. And explain to me how we almost lost our democracy, because these not particularly masters of the universe take over, and what, Nancy Pelosi, the military, the vice president, everybody's going to say, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to let Trump be president now. Well, let's make him king. No, it was a few jerks, mostly taken over the dean's office. And, oh, please, God, stop talking about it.
Egged on by the president.
Yes, every day is Christmas.
Yeah, I happen to agree with everything she just said. I don't think that J6 was this giant threat to our democracy. Like I said, I said exactly what you did. It wasn't like Nancy Pelosi. It wasn't like everyone was going to hand over the keys and be like, here's our military to these 150 people with zip ties. I guess we got to go home. I know we've put billions into our defense. Those 200 plus years are they're just gone. We're done. Ladies and gentlemen, your new non-elected representatives are the January 6th rioters. Their new jerseys and swag will be available on j6rioters.com. Give me a break. I've been saying that shit since it happened. Everyone knows. I've been hard on the J6ers. I don't think they should have been pardoned. I think they should serve the time. And I think their cases should have been reviewed on an individual basis to look at unfair sentencing processes. And then at that point, you could commute their sentence or give them a pardon. I think that's was the right thing to do. But Donald Trump had a lot to do, and I get it, doing a one-stop sweep and saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander, too. They serve their time. And most of those cases, 99% of them, were for misdemeanors, and they deserved to be set free. But those extreme sentencings, I think the most vile of those people should still be in prison. I'm sorry. But I happen to agree with everything she just said. We're not a democracy. Ann Coulter, finally getting a win. So here's the thing. It's a little confusing to me. A clean CR means that it's a clean continuing resolution, which means it's the example of the previous CR, and nothing has changed on it. Nothing's been added. Nothing's been attached to it. It's the same CR. But this lady is why, if anyone votes for a Democrat, I'm having a hard time understanding. Do you guys like the new Halloween colors, by the way? I think it's pretty cool. Sorry. I think it's cool. Listen to this, because this is bad. And this woman can't even, I mean, if you're a constituent, how do you vote for her again? Because this is worse than Kamala Harris. I mean, this is dereliction of your duties, your sworn oath to protect your constituents, and you can't even explain what the poison pill is on the CR and why you won't vote for it. What they don't want to tell you is that Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, has to be subsidized because it's not affordable. That's why it should just be called the Expensive Care Act, the ECA. And prices are going to go up 24%. And if they don't fund it, they're going to double. Well, that is, if the government doesn't subsidize it and it goes up double, maybe we should just let it die. Maybe you should come up with another program. But Democrats don't want to do that. And what you should do is sunset this program and basically say, okay, we're going to stimulate it right now. In 365 days, we're going to come up with a bill together, and we're going to come up with something that works for America. But they won't do that. Because why? They're paid for by the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies. And Democrats take more money as a group than anyone else. They're all in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies. Bernie Sanders proved that. You got to give it to Uncle Bernie. Sometimes he brings the receipts. But the point is, you can't sit here and say, well, we need to fund the Obamacare Act, because it is a longer conversation than just funding it. Because it's like literally, it's like giving some I don't know, a life preserver to a boat. It's not going to do anything. It's going to sink either way. So why don't we just let it sink? And why don't we put a moratorium on this damn thing and say, okay, we got 365 days to replace this, and all of our jobs are on the line for this. And stand together and say, we're going to figure out something that works for America, and this is how it's going to work, and it's going to be a net positive. And if it's not a net positive, we're just not going to do it anymore. But you can't, because everything, Social Security, welfare of any type, EBT, SNAP, WIC, all subsidies for government, even government housing, it's a failure because there's no money in it. You can't give things away for free and expect to make it profitable. And you can't tax the country into prosperity. It's not that we don't want health care for. Do you think I want to spend $1,400 a month on health care? Are you crazy? No, I can't afford that. Do the math. You know, we had an ex-viewer come and go off on me with us making $6,000 a month in donations or whatever it is. Do the math for a family of 4. You guys, I'm an independent contractor. My taxes are 40%. Don't feel bad for me. I live where I live. I do what I do, but you understand the squeeze. It's not affordable. And your lives aren't either. Of course we would love free health care. We just don't want our taxes to go up 50%. And you can't tax a nation in prosperity. It's not a sustainable source. And because it's not sustainable, should we fund it? No. Listen to this moron.
They did have a clean CR vote on September 19th in the House. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization.
Oh my gosh. Democrat talking point. I disagree with your character. It's not a characterization. It's a statement about appropriations. There's no characterization here. There's no way to dress this up. There's no personality. There's no semblance of anything about mischaracterizing. And whether you appreciate it or not is immaterial. Just answer the damn question, lady.
And want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth, they've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it. So I disagree with your characterization.
Great.
What were the poison pills of the clean CR or the continuing resolution? You say it's not clean.
Yep.
That was voted on in the House in mid-September.
Yep.
Here's what's important. I think what you're trying to do is shift the responsibility to Democrats.
They did have a clean CR vote on September 19th in the House. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure.
Dude, what is this? I disagree. I mean, just her hand movements. What is going on? I'm just trying to understand. Hold on.
Here's what's important. I think.
Oh, God, I just want to punch her in the face. Oh, she's from Oregon. Go figure. Oh. No, I don't want to punch a woman in the face, but I do have a few choice words for sure. Folks, 2:17:50. We are behind, and we are at the 21:11 hour. We are sitting at 9:11. Want to try to get through that and hit goals. So if we have not had a chance to donate, we'd appreciate it. We have 150 some odd people on. It would be awesome if we can hit. If everyone gave $1, we're done. If give $5, we're really done. Everything you do to help, we appreciate it. If you can't, that's okay. Whoopi Goldberg is saying, hey, can't we all just get along? Can we stop investigating a man who is no longer in office? What? You want us to do what? Penalty flag on the play, mental retardation, 15 yards, first down. Repeat first down. Whoopi Goldberg. You don't want to investigate a man who's no longer in office? You're going to sit up there and tell us this? You've got to be kidding me. We're going to hit 333,000. It's pretty exciting. I'll stay on until we do that. It's not going to be too long if this keeps up. Must have something going viral again. Here's Whoopi. This is insanity. Enjoy.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. You know, I kind of agree with him. If you, instead of investigating a man who is no longer in office, I would like y'all to find out why the U.S. military is striking vessels without verifying who's in them.
Yeah.
I want the government shut down to figure out what's going on because it's getting ready to be the longest one in history. SNAP benefits are about to run out. Soybean farmers in financial crisis. And, of course, there is the unreleased Epstein files.
Yes.
Unreleased. There's 37,000 Epstein files. Which one of all those that you didn't read did you want? I ask this question all the time in chat on the show. People come in, I want the Epstein files released. Which one? What file do you want released? Out of the 37,000 that were released, which one which one did you not read that you wanted to see? Tell me one file that you read. Not one person. It's not important. No. What you want is a file that implicates Donald Trump, which doesn't exist. That's what you want. Because if it did exist, we would have found it out of the $32 million freaking Mueller investigation. We would have found it with the Russian P tapes. You would have found it with Stormy Daniels. You would have found it with the document scandal. You would have found it with Letitia James. You would have found it with the Mar-a-Lago investment. You would have found it the 2 times you impeached him. Give me a break. It doesn't exist. If it did, you would have used it so he wouldn't have got elected in 2024 because being a kid is a persona non grata deal breaker. Come on. You don't want to have anyone investigated while they're out of office. Okay, Whoopi. Give me a break. You want to find out what's wrong with this lockdown? It's pretty damn simple. It was the Democrats' fault in the 60s, and it's the Democrats' fault now. The only difference is they were doing it against people who were her color. Can I say that? Is that racist? No, Whoopi. At least you're not George Takei, who's slumming for the Democrats. At least they put his entire family in an internment camp. They put the Japanese in an internment camp. FDR put him in a camp. And you guys still vote for him. Democrats put you in chains and you still vote for him. Biden even said, you got to put you all back in chains. He wasn't talking about conservatives. Where the hell do you guys come up? Where do you get the balls to sit here and say this? Give me a break. I'm like at my wit's end. I've had it up to here with The View. And then guess who's going on The View next week? Love this. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I told you. She's going to be working for CNN. Watch. She's going to become an independent. She wants to be Thomas Massey and Rand Paul. That's what she wants. She wants to be the third pair, the trifecta. She wants to be 2 slices of white bread and turkey, white chicken breast in the middle. She wants to have a Thomas Massey and a Rand Paul sandwich. Right in the middle. I bet you $1 billion. She's going to leave the Republican Party and she's going to become an independent. Watch. Bookmark it. Bookmark it. Told you. She's going on The View. That should be fun. That should be just a hoot. Hoot, hoot. I don't want an investigation of a man out of office. You were bathing in those waters for 4 years over Trump. 4 years. Here's a question. Daylight savings time. Do you love it do you hate it? And if you hate it, it means you want daylight longer. You want summer all year round. If you love it, it means you like the dark of winter. Which one is it for you? Are you a darker person in the evening and in late afternoon, or are you a lighter person in the late evening, late afternoon? Do you want to keep it, or do you want to get rid of it? Do you want to make it permanent, or do you want to get rid of it? Now, I know my Arizona people are going to be like, we don't have anything. We know. Shut it. We know. I loved living in Arizona. So, do we have longer hours, or does it get darker earlier? Here is somebody telling you all about it, and we're going to talk about it in a second. Folks, 217.50. We need to get there. We need to get there. Here we go.
Mr. President, I come to the floor today to once again talk about the outdated practice of changing our clocks twice a year. This weekend, my constituents back home in Alabama and across America will be forced to change their clocks. As a result, it will be dark in Washington, D.C. at 5 p.m. next week. In the 5 years I've served here in the Senate, making daylight savings time permanent is the number one issue that I hear about back home. I'm proud to have joined my colleague, Rick Scott, early this year in reintroducing the Sunshine Protection Act to make daylight savings time permanent on the federal level. Unfortunately, it has been brought to the floor for a vote. So here I am advocating once again to make the outdated practice of changing our clock a thing of the past. For nearly 60 years, Americans have changed their clocks back and forth twice a year, but the roots of daylight saving time trace back much further. Daylight saving time was introduced during World War I and then reused again during World War II as a temporary way to help conserve fuel and energy. Following the ends of both wars, the decision was to spring forward and fall back, was returned to individual states. It was until 1966 when the system of changing our clocks twice a year that we use now was made permanent. Changing our clocks twice a year might have made sense in the 60s, but it doesn't make sense anymore. The twice a year time change doesn't make sense today. We know the devastating impact of disruption from so-called standard time has on Americans' health. Studies have suggested that disruption of sleep patterns due to time changes increases the risk of cardiovascular disease and physical injury. Northwestern Medical found that the fall back and the spring forward are connected to a 6% spike in fatal car accidents and 24% higher risk of heart attack. Think about that. Additionally, the long-term health effects linked to changing our clocks include weight gain, cluster headaches, and depression. You would think we would listen to all that. Bottom line, shifting our clocks disrupts sleep patterns, and it has been proven time and time again to be harmful to the health. Thanks to RFK Jr.'s great work of HHS, a lot of Americans are taking their health more seriously and by trying to eat healthier and to get more sleep. Switching the clock back and forth is the exact opposite of making America healthy again movement that RFK Jr. has championed. It's bad for sleep, it's bad for nutrition, and it's bad for overall health. And for that reason, I push back and try to get this on the floor sooner or later, and I yield back to my colleague, Rick Scott.
It has been on the floor and passed numerous times. They're never going to change it. This bullshit. Sorry. It has been on the docket so many more times than I can even begin to tell you. Nothing's going to change. They're not going to change it because they can agree on nothing. Now, I like it darker. I love waking up to the light. Scratch that. I like sleep. Tired. I like having it dark when I'm sleeping, and when I wake up, I don't like the dark. Son of a bitch. Let me try it again. I like it to be dark when I'm sleeping, and then have it later in the day. as I got older. So I want more light. So that would mean sun comes up later. So it's darker in the morning, right? Yes. And then it stays lighter longer. When I was younger, I liked the opposite. I liked light early and then to get dark early. I love that because it always felt like fall and break, and I loved it. Now that I'm older, I like it lighter longer. I don't like having it light at 9:30 at night. That bothers me. 9 o'clock at night. I don't like I like it pitch black. Well, Glenn, maybe I'm trying to hit gold. I'm focused on that. You know? Maybe I'm like the Zoltan machine or whatever. Give me a quarter and I'll give you your future. So now I want more light. I like it with barbecuing. I like it, you know. Like if it got dark at like 7:30 that would be gorgeous. But you can't do that. The sun's not going to accommodate. But is it exactly an hour we need? Or is it a little less? Or is it a little more? I mean, I guess if you think about that, see, and that's not something I've thought about. If you change the time, isn't distance of the sun going to play part in that? And wouldn't it still, you would have slippage in less light and more dark during some times of the year? Yeah, maybe. I don't know the answer to that question. I can't believe I don't know the answer to the question. I'm too tired to think about it. Yeah, it's because the sun would expose in the hemisphere. No, because it's a circle. So even with our distance to the sun, it's still going to provide the same amount of light, but it would not provide the same amount of heat source. So honestly, the light would stay static. Temperature would be impacted, of course, like it always is. No, but the time and the light would stay static. So changing it 1 hour would give us consistent light source. So is it an hour we need? Could it be 45 minutes? And just do that. Yeah, I know. I know the time doesn't change. That's my point. So I didn't really think about that. But yeah, so the time of year won't matter. It'll matter with heat. But that's it. And cold. But certainly not when it comes to time changing. So do we need a full hour though? That's a question I have. The solstice affects things. It would change. So we would still see fluctuation in the amount of light that we have based upon the time of year. Yeah. See, Frederick, now I'm getting it. Yeah. So let me dive into this because I've never given this a lot of thought. See, because you would have to, you would have a difference. Okay. Total daylight, right, so I'm right originally. The total daylight we get each day is determined by the Earth's tilt and the orbit of the sun. Right. Not by the clock. Yeah, we know this. What daylight savings does is shift when the sunlight lines up with your daily schedule. If you kept daylight savings all year, sunrise and sunset would both happen 1 hour later by the clock. More light in the evening, darker mornings, right. If you dropped it and stayed on standard time, sunrise and sunset would happen 1 hour earlier by the clock, brighter mornings, darker evenings. So the same sunlight, just a different way of labeling it. Total amount of daylight changes throughout the year. That's what I said. I know it's not because of daylight savings time. Here's what actually happens. The Earth tilt causes the sun to shine longer in summer and shorter in the winter. That makes sense. For example, there might be 15 hours of daylight and 9 hours in December in your USA. Daylight savings time just shifts the clock. Okay, so that makes sense completely because it's all about the polar shift. So what you're saying is that you're still going to have less daylight. It's still going to get darker earlier, but it's not going to be a drastic 2.5 hours earlier. It is just you're going to lose an hour or two of daylight in between the summer and winter months, right? Yeah. And depending upon where you're at in the country, also depends on that. Because people in Alaska obviously have longer days, and the people on the South Pole have longer days. But depending upon the shift, sometimes they have perpetual night too. Lois, donations are probably going to be showing up. Olivia had to step out and pick up the kids at the basketball game. So you're still going to have, like, say it's 9 hours and 15 hours of daylight, right? And you're going to get that in the beginning of the morning and at the end of the day. It's going to narrow that amount of light that you have, the daylight hours, which just totally makes sense. But depending upon where you are in the country, Alaska always gets screwed, and places like that. So, and south of the equator gets, way far south gets screwed. But you're still going to have it be dark in the winter earlier and lighter later in the summer. But it's that extra hour which makes it drastic. So instead of getting dark at 5 o'clock or 5:30 when the sun starts going down, you're going to see it at 3:30 going down and getting dark, right? Depending upon where you are. So you should just keep it. And that would ensure that the only difference in light that you would have would based upon the solstice and whether you're in summer or winter solstice, right? Right. Okay. If you only lose it if you don't use it, no matter what time it is on light or dark. Well, I agree with that too. Like, I'm productive when it's dark. I'm a night owl. I love it. And I understand why you do it. I just don't think it's necessary anymore. But I think people in agriculture and, you know, who raise cattle and stuff, they're going to disagree with me. They're going to say no way. Folks, I'm pretty sure we hit it. I hope we hit it. I'm waiting for my wife to come back. It looks like we have 2 or 3 in there, but no, I don't think we've hit it yet. Yeah, it's not going to work. No, and it screws me up every single year. Every single damn year. The twice a year it happens, I can't sleep, and my schedule gets all weirded out, and I just don't like the way it makes me feel. Like, I'm getting groggy now. Like, I can feel the time change is ready, and I'm just like, it's 4 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm tired. And I'm never like that until the change. All right, we're going to do one more. Hopefully, Olivia's back to put them in by then. We're going to do a quick video on Jack Citarelli. So there's definitely a push happening in Monmouth County in New Jersey. And this Trump in 2020 gained 3%, 19% for Citarelli, and then Trump 12%. There is a very positive outlook on Citarelli in New Jersey. A lot of people like him. And I don't like this Mikey character. Here's the video for Fox, and this election looks doable. Surprisingly enough, Sears is narrowing the gap a little bit too. Here it is.
He's going to be holding Citarelli a rally later today in Spring Lake, New Jersey. That's Monmouth County, the Jersey Shore for those familiar. But President Trump back in 2020 won with a 3-point margin there. In the gubernatorial race in 2021, Citarelli won by a 19% margin, John. And President Trump built on his own margin in the 2024 presidential election, won by 12 points, but still didn't top Citarelli's lead there. So he is going to be rallying there later today, trying to build on that lead.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the southern part of New Jersey down there near Cape May and the counties down there, solidly Republican territory as well. You know, in terms of intensity, as we're anticipating.
So Monmouth is, if I'm not mistaken, is actually Republican territory, but the turnout is what's important. And if Republicans show up, he has a great chance. And the same thing holds true for Winsome Earl Sears. Virginia has enough people. If the people who showed up for Trump show up for Sears, it's going to be a drop in the bucket. But it's really turnout on election day. And New Jersey looks much better than Virginia right now. Virginia doesn't look awesome. But their turnout on mail-in ballots has been stronger than the rest of the country. Virginia, it's not looking great, but let's just see if we can close that gap, right? We got to keep looking. I think honestly that Winsome Sears should be on every podcast and talking to every single, but she's not. That's frustrating to me. But we'll cover it. I mean, I can't wait for Tuesday. It's going to be fun. What's really interesting is that I have to get 2 crowns done. They were going to do a full tooth extraction and then put a crown in and then do a flipper, because that one right there that I got pulled, you guys remember a couple years ago, I'm going to get a flipper put in. We got insurance, so I'm like getting all the things that I needed to get done. And that's going to fill that no tooth there. And then I'm going to get 2 crowns put in on my lower jaw. This needs to get a permanent implant, and so does this one, but we're going to do that later. We're going to do crowns for a while. I'll do it when I get older. Let me put in these donations because I got to figure out where we are. Hold on a second. I got to talk to Olivia. Hey, have you put Catherine Sidman in and Lois? I've got Catherine, Lois, Thomas. Okay, so honey, just recite here. I'm a little tired. Thomas, Lois, and Catherine have not been put in. Is that correct? Correct. Okay, I'm going to put those in right now. Love you. Bye. Yeah. So Isaac says that he's received Winsome Sears ads. That's the problem. That's a horrible campaign manager. That's a person that's just throwing Facebook ads out there and not using regional codes to put them in. It's stupid. Sorry, folks. Wife isn't here. I got to put in donations myself. Ugh. The drudgery. I don't mind doing it, actually. But it slows down the show, and that's okay. We're kind of done. I'm just kind of Joseph, Lenin, and Stalin right now, to be honest with you. Oh, come on, baby. Make it easy. It's been a long day. I didn't sleep well. Kind of one of those nights. This time change screws with my sleep, and it's just did the same thing. I was doing okay. Now I can't even get these in. Okay, here we go. All right, so... And yes, I'm very aware that we have trolls. All right. That's so bright. My gosh. All right. Tommy Austin. Got to put you in. Thank you, buddy. Add tip. Damn. Oh, Tommy, you can't put in all those spaces and stuff. I can't. I don't know how to do that. It messes with my system. I got it. Oh, let's see. Good news is we're almost at 330,000, which is exciting. 33,000. All right, Tommy Austin, I owe you. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you getting that in. Sorry, guys, I suck at this. Olivia is so much better than I am when it comes to this. Miss Lois, love you. Appreciate you. You are the bestest. Thank you, ma'am. Catherine Sidman. Thank you, Catherine. And no message, I don't think. Nope. Add. Yeah, I know this sucks. I know just sitting here watching me do this sucks, but it is what it is. Catherine, you're the best. Thank you. CJ, let me know if you need help with your phone. I'm serious. All you got to do is ask. And thank you very much for your donation. That's huge. And then I'll do one more video, and then I'm going to go. Thank you. That's a huge donation. We appreciate you, CJ. You are the best. All right, everybody. I think we're all caught up. And it looks like we hit it. Yep. Doesn't mean you have to stop. You want to continue to keep donating while we do one more video. That's fine. But we appreciate everybody hitting it. And now we can move on. What'd you guys think of the lights? Does it look good? I think it looks pretty good. I know I've asked twice, but I don't think anyone's answered me yet. Go with the Halloween look for tomorrow. Let me know. All right. Last video. Make sure I get the most important things. Save that for Olivia tomorrow. She wanted me to save that for y'all. Oh, this is pretty good. So Megyn Kelly just did this, and Gavin Newsom told Charlie Kirk his son was so excited Charlie would be on his podcast. He was refusing to go to school because he wanted to meet Charlie when Charlie Kirk was on Gavin Newsom's podcast. Then Newsom goes on CNN and says his son didn't like Charlie Kirk. Pretty crappy, right? Here's the video. Nice to see that Megan's talking about something other than Jews. Here it is.
Gavin Newsom, shame on him. Shame on him. He invited Charlie on his podcast, and Charlie went. Charlie went and sat in the lion's den with a far left guy, was courteous to him. I think he was his inaugural guest. Did him that courtesy, bringing all these eyeballs to his show. And what does Gavin Newsom do? Betrays him. So here's what Gavin said to Charlie when Charlie was sitting on his set about Gavin Newsom's own son, Sot 1.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed. He's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie going to be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is,
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
His son was such an ardent fan that he begged Gavin.
What a complete... Oh, man.
Newsom
I didn't watch this. That is a douche plow move, dude. You know what I mean? Like, even if I had Cenk Uyghur on, I would be... Oh, here we go. 333,000 followers. There it is. Do you know how cool it is to see that number, y'all? How much work we've put in. That's just cool. That's really exciting. Very exciting. 333,000. Yeah, that's humbling. That is humbling.
Him stay home from school, begged him to tell him exactly what time they had to get up, and Charlie was coming, and then was obviously very disappointed that he didn't get to go. And here's Gavin Newsom on CNN Monday with an entirely different description of what went down, Sot 2.
That's your son, obviously a fan of Charlie Kirk. What was the conversation like between you and your son after Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
Well, he called me. I don't know how he got a phone, but he called me from school that day, really alarmed. And all his friends were around the phone that wanted me to somehow express or understand what was going on. He wanted to know if he was dead. He wasn't a fan of him as much as he was familiar with
really?
him. And it was very revelatory for me because he's also out there. My son is 11, 12 years old. He's sitting there talking to me about not just Charlie Kirk, but folks like Andrew Tate. And he's, sort of beyond Joe Rogan in many ways, sort of.
Oh, you're a jackass. You know what? I've been trying to watch my mouth. Patriot, keep at it, dude. We were tough for a couple weeks. And we broke through the algorithm just recently again. So it's just persistence. It's some days you just kind of back off. Like this weekend, I backed off posting and then I hit it hard. I've been doing a lot of text posts. Those have been doing really well. Videos are not doing great. I had one go to like 386,000 today, which is good. I don't know where it's at now. But we didn't make anything for like a week, and then we've had a good week this week. It was a very good month again. Like this live show, 7,000 views. That's double. Usually we have 2,500 to 3.5. We have a ton of traffic right now. So we had 7,000 views on tonight. That's huge. I know that may not seem huge to you guys, but that's huge. That's good traffic for a live show. 62 people watching it this late, but top was 98 people on. That's better than most shows, trust me. Yeah, 340K views on a video, but this one had 2.7 million. This post, the civil rights one, had 2.7 million interactions. That's a lot. And you make good money on those things. Gavin Newsom is just a jerk. You know what I mean? I would never use my kid like that. If my kid loves something, my daughter loves Taylor Swift, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend she doesn't. You know what I mean? Thomas, and that was just Facebook. That's right. Oh yeah, we had guaranteed more than 10,000 viewers. YouTube did pretty well too. At 30 YouTube, 60 on Twitter right now. So yeah, I mean, the live show's been doing well lately. And once I stop cussing, it helps, and using that. But I think last night's show really did well too. We had a lot of people watching. So it's great. We're really excited. We're really happy. We want it to do well. We want it to do well. I haven't been doing a lot of videos myself. I've been sharing a lot of stuff, and that does well. And I got to find out what that looks like. You know, I got to find out what my personal videos look like. And what I really want to do is I want to start doing combined videos, and start like over FaceTime. So like Damani and I can get on and talk about something, or Leeroy or whatever. And then I'm looking to take a vacation, and I talked to Damani and Leeroy, and they're both going to fill in. So it'll be great. Just have Damani do a show, and he can stream directly to the page. It'd be awesome. I gotta help him with the software and get it all set up. Other than that, folks, that's it. I'm gonna go rest up. Marty Natchez signed 8 years, 11.5 million. That means we've got money from a car. Avs are a wagon. Just watch out for the Avs. They solved their power play last game. They scored 4 power play goals. They just absolutely obliterated 8-4 the New Jersey Devils, which are one of the best teams in hockey. Avs look good. They're going to settle it. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here tonight. I had a good time tonight. I had fun tonight. I like the color. It's kind of cool. It's not always going to fit, but it looks cool. I think it looks neat. I like the red, white, and blue, though. So I might change the colors up and see what I can do. All right, I got to go. I'm tired. I'm rambling. Good night, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, everyone who donated. Thanks, everyone. I know we got rent coming up and stuff, and there's a lot of unknowns for what's coming up. Hi. It's Halloween. Come here. Are you wearing your outfit? No. I wanted to show everybody. Did you take a picture? I have several pictures. Send me a picture so I can show everybody real quick. It looks like Halloween. Like, look at this one, too. See, and look at that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that neat?
That is really neat.
So we're going to change them up during stuff like that.
Christmas. I'm excited for the Christmas one.
Yeah, you can come decorate. I'm going to put a tree right there, and you can do a tree.
Can I?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Right now, I have so many ideas now.
That's right. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You put garland up, lights up. I don't care as long as you don't screw up anything. Send me pictures right now. Hurry up. No, like fast. I want to get off the line. It's my daughter. She's home. Can I tell you how much I love my kids? I'm so proud of them. My daughter is so freaking awesome. And she's doing so well. And my son is going to be just fine too. And our relationship's good, even though his math isn't the best. And well, not his math, but some of his stuff in school. But he's doing well. He's going to be okay. Hurry up, Hayden. Are we dressing up? No. We'll probably dress up as Avs fans. I may rock my Avs jersey. I don't dress up for Halloween. I want the kids to see my daughter. Like she's dressing up as Rapunzel. I need bigger guns. Hurry up. Well, you should have sent to me anyway. I went to your Instagram and they weren't there. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. I was on your page. What's up, E-Dog? I like them too. Isn't that cool? Take a look. Look at for Halloween. And then here is this one. Isn't that neat? It's cool for Halloween, isn't it? What are you doing? Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I'll turn it up. Hold on. Wait, Holmes. Okay, just
Happy Halloween.
Okay, forget it. I guess we're gonna stay on.
Yay.
I was gonna. What are you guys doing? Did you send me a picture?
I sent you 3 pictures.
Okay, your mic is on. Go hot. You guys can always come on. You know this.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
It was pink out, so that's why I have the pink bandana on. I have a pink shirt under this, but I got really cold, so I stole my boyfriend's Letterman's jacket.
Oh, Hayden, you make me sick. I mean, seriously.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I don't understand. I'm just derp derp.
I don't get it.
You're just pretty, and it makes me sick. It makes me absolutely sick.
Makes me suck to my stomach. That one video.
That one guy makes me sick to my stomach. Where are they?
You're on the wrong. You have to go to Hayden McKenna Spear. You're in the wrong text
My
message.
daughter. I'm so tired. So here we go. So that's her Halloween costume. She went as Rapunzel.
Show the mirror one, the first one. That's the best. That's the best one of it.
Okay. That's hard to see.
Yeah.
You look like Olivia Newton-John from Xanadu.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good compliment.
Yeah, when she's in the movie studio and they're doing Suddenly.
Guys, my room's clean. Do you like it?
No.
And
It's actually clean for once. Do you like it?
Yeah. Yes. You know Suddenly, the song? That's when she's skating around in Suddenly.
Yes, I've seen Xanadu.
Don't talk.
I want to do Xanadu, but Miss Prezina said no because apparently when we did Grease, somebody fell on roller skates and we're now no longer legally allowed to do anything with roller skates. Oh, my camera is over here.
Yeah. So
I was looking at the main screen.
I'm working on it. Hold on, I gotta flip it. Boom. And what we'll do is we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3, 4. All right. So what's the dealio?
I'm gonna go get my costume.
What? No, you're not gonna go.
You're
get your
not
costume.
changing,
dude. It's 21:50, man. Dad's getting tired. He's getting old.
Miss Prezina was really confused because I put military time on my sign in and sign out sheet today, and she went, "I need you to translate." So I guess she can't subtract by 12. I fear that's. See, what I do in my head is I just subtract by 2 and then eliminate the first number. That's what I do. So like, I'm at a point now where I can just look at it and know what time it is. Like I don't have to do the math in my head. But when I first started using military time, all I did was like subtract by 2.
Just it's not hard.
It's really easy, actually. Who's texting?
I don't know, but yeah, military time is easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so much easier than regular time. There's so many times where I have to like clarify times. Like just the other day for Halloween tomorrow, like we have times that I'm going into Percival for like lunch and stuff. And I was like, Frankie, you should come to my house at like 10. And she was like, PM? And I was like, no, if it was 10 PM, I would just say 2200. Like, I don't understand why people don't know military time. It makes me really, really mad.
Well, either way, 12. You take the time and subtract 2, and then that gives you your number. But you know, it is what it is.
Guys, the puppy missed me. She's like licking my leg. Well, or that could just be because I have pink acrylic paint all over my legs.
Yeah. Hey guys, Luther Boone's in here, and he just called me a lying piece of. So Luther, why am I a lying piece of? Just please, my kids want to know why.
Yeah, we would like to know this actually.
Yeah, why am I?
Is it because he told us Santa Claus was real? Is that why?
Why would you say this in front of poor innocent souls? Like, why would you do that?
Okay, speak for yourself.
Luther's going to get trounced by my children. This is going to be amazing. Come on, Luther. Why am I a lying piece of whatever?
Garbage.
Yeah. Garbage. Refuse. Oh, look at that. You even have a kid yourself. Do they still talk to you?
Oh my gosh, I saw somebody at the football game with a MAGA hat on, and I complimented their hat, and I felt really proud of myself.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
They
What did they say?
They went, woo! They just screamed woo. And then I got really scared. I think they were probably drunk. They were seniors, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are mad at me right now. But did you see we hit 333,000?
Really? That's so good.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah, wait, 333. That's like the angel's number.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
333.
Ethan
It's a
says, good
sign.
response, like father, like son. Oh, no. Yeah, these kids will tear this guy up. Run, dude. You don't understand the Spear family. You just don't get us. If you
Oh my gosh. Wait.
If you hit the table one more time, Hayden, I swear to.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was at lunch the other day, and this was actually like the best conversation I've ever had in my entire life. So I was at lunch, and I was sitting next to my boyfriend and my boyfriend's friends, and then my best friend was across from me, and my best friend is a crazy diehard liberal, and that's like, we're both people that can put politics aside, so like we don't really like let that budge into our relationship. But you know, when politics are like entered, we will have conversations about it. And so I'm sitting there, and my best friend and one of my friends and my boyfriend and his friends are all like sitting at this table.
Right.
And then one of my friends from creative writing class, her name's Molly. She watches this show. She's probably watching right now. Actually, no, she just got back from the game, so she's probably not watching.
Hayden.
She came over to me.
What did you smoke at the game?
Weed. Okay, so she came over to me.
You need to clarify that when you're online.
Okay, I'm joking, guys. I'm actually joking. I just have a really bad sense of humor. And when my dad asks me if I did something wrong, I say yes, because if I say no, then he's going to think I did something wrong. So
what did she have at the game? Did she have crystal meth?
Yes, I met Walter White. Actually, he was a really cool guy.
You're at 100,000 miles an hour. Can you just downshift to third gear for a second?
I have adrenaline from the game, like pent up. Like I need to.
Did we win?
No, we lost because I can't say the name. The third.
Can you just finish your other story before you go into? Listen, I really want to get off and have my yogurt and watch my show.
This is just like a really interesting story, and I'm really glad that I had this conversation.
Say it.
So Molly came over to me. And she was like, Hayden, there are a bunch of people at this table who are pro-choice, and you have the best argument against this that I know, and I need you to come fight for us. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I go over to this table, and I start having arguments, or not like arguments, just like a debate. And they were really, really respectful. There were two people. It was a guy and a girl, and they were like not that educated on the topic, but they had some good points. And it was really fun having this conversation with them. And in the end, I ended up not converting the girl's opinion, but I got the guy to admit that like he saw my points and that he actually like valued my opinion on this. And so I got the guy to say, oh yeah, I think I'm actually pro-life. And then when I went back to my table, apparently my table, because like they were not that far from each other, they heard me. And I got two of my boyfriend's friends to actually, I got two of my boyfriend's friends to admit that I was right. One of them was saying, oh, she's crazy. My boyfriend already sides with me, so he didn't care. And then my two like girlfriends, they just didn't say anything because they're very, very, very liberal. But it was really fun to have that conversation. It was like the best conversation I've ever had. And I really, 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 really like debating people on politics. It's really fun. Anyway.
5 days later.
and then for my other story.
No.
No, this is a good one. Ethan can.
Shut
Ethan
up.
can
Muted. Ethan needs the chance to speak because Ethan literally is going to hang himself like an airplane. Ethan. I don't like not being able to hear myself. Okay, then stop talking.
Okay, deal.
Go ahead, E.
Okay, I want to hear what she's talking about.
Yeah, me too, actually. Okay.
Adjusting transmitter output.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right.
I was about to be,
All right, go ahead, and then we got to go.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
No, but
No.
No. Slow down.
Okay.
Now, hey, no. Shut up.
Okay.
Count to 10. Not in Greek or Armenian or Cyrillic.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
Get past 7 and I'll be shocked.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Right,
I can count
up.
to 15. Okay.
Now, listen, if you go too fast, I'm shutting the show down.
Okay.
You need to slow down.
I will slow down.
Because I'm going to have a stroke. Because I'm trying to catch up with you and an aneurysm is about to hit.
Sorry. I have a lot of pent up energy.
Okay, great.
From the
Then
game.
get rid of it.
Okay,
go.
So, can I say my high school's name? Is that allowed?
No.
No. Okay. So,
it's called Paper Garden.
Paper Garden.
Paper Garden High School.
Okay.
Coco King.
So I'm actually gonna.
Coco Bean.
What are you doing? What are you wearing? Not on tier. What is that?
It's a Paper Garden merch.
No, you can't wear that.
Yeah. So that's
we just go.
Okay. So
God, you're just like your mother. I'm just like.
So Paper Garden, my high school, was up the whole game. We got a touchdown in the first quarter, and then we got a second touchdown in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And so we were 14-0, and then can I say I'm going to say Texas, my old Texas high school, Klein Kane High School. Say we're versing them. They got a touchdown in the third quarter. And so now it's 14-7. Ethan, you can pitch in. You were watching the game too. So now it's 14-7. And then 30 seconds left in the game. 30 seconds left in the game. My mom is in the parking lot and we are ready to go. And then all of a sudden they get a touchdown. And so now it's 13-14. And then they get the 1 point. They get the extra point. And so now it's 14-14. And so it goes into overtime. And this is the first overtime high school game that I've ever witnessed. And Paper Garden gets the ball first. And then we score the touchdown. We score a touchdown after like the fourth try. And then I can't say the person's name, but the third line varsity kicker, not the first, not the second, the third line varsity kicker gets put in for this kick.
Why?
I don't know. I'm so mad at the coach right now.
Ethan, shush Hayden. Why did they put in the third string? Do you know?
Maybe a fake.
No, but why would you put the third string in? Do you have any idea, bud? I'm asking you because your sister's stupid when it comes to sports.
Wait, let me think.
No, forget it. Shut up, Ethan.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, so why did they do that, Hayden?
I don't know.
Well, was the first and second string hurt?
No, they were perfectly fine.
Did they miss any points or miss a field goal?
Both the first and second line kicked earlier in the game for the first two touchdowns that we got, and we got it.
All right, so third goes in. Why?
So third goes in, and the whole like Woodgrove student section is like on their like the edge of their seat because everyone's like, this kid is not going to make it.
I get it.
And so he kicks it 3 feet off of the ground, and Klein Kane grabs the ball, and they block the kick. And so the whole student section goes wild, and then Klein Kane now has the ball. It's now their turn. They get the touchdown the first try. And then they get the field goal, and so it ended up as 20.
Extra point.
The extra point. So it ended up as 20-21, and I was losing my mind. I was screaming. I was so upset. I was so mad because we had a record of
like
we had a record
6 or 7 and 2, something like that.
We 6-7. We had 7-2 was our record. 7-2 was our record, and now it's 7-3. And if we win at our rivals' high school, I can't say who they are. If we win at our rivals' high school next week, then it is now 8-3, and then we make playoffs.
Okay.
And so I really hope
Garden. That's our rival, Scissor Garden.
Okay. Scissor Garden. Okay.
Scissor Garden.
Folks, everyone's like, this is the way daughters talk. Yeah, I'm aware. And I'm pushing. I was up at 4. So I'm a little tired and I'm a little punchy. And that was much better than the last one. Okay. I've signed Natchez today. All is right in the world. So
we're talking sports.
What?
We're talking sports. For all my Cowboys fans out there.
Oh. Dude. Dude, Broncos are a wagon. Broncos are for real this year. I mean, they really should be undefeated. They should have beaten the Colts.
Leverage.
I know. What the hell was that penalty leverage? All right, everybody, listen. God bless you. Kids, say goodnight to everybody. Say hi to Bobby and Mel. And
hi, Bobby. Hi, Mel. We love you
Bye,
guys.
Mel. We need mistakes. Bye, Bobby.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, we definitely need.
You are not asking for steaks from Mel. Leave Mel alone.
We love you, Mel.
Better, Bobby.
That's not true at
we
all.
We took Bo Nix from you, and
dude,
he's doing good. He's doing just fine.
Dude, the Buffs got literally curb stomped, 43-0 against the Utes.
He scored a touchdown.
No, we didn't. It was 43-0, yo.
No, we got a touchdown.
Oh. Was it 6-7 points?
6-7. I would do it, but I can't.
All right. Good night, everybody. Listen, God bless. Thanks for watching, folks. Thanks for fundraising, a little overtime with the kids. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Broncos on top. Good
Bye,
night,
guys.
everybody.
See you guys tomorrow night. God bless everybody. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Love you guys. Night.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.